G'day team. Today on the Great Man Podcast, I'm joined by Josh Atkins, a veteran who's turned his service into a mission of support. He's the founder of Weight of War, a charity run that's as cheeky as it is powerful. Picture Josh pounding the pavement through New Farm in nothing but budgie smugglers and a weight vest, all to raise money for and awareness for veteran charities like Survive to Thrive. It's raw, it's funny, and it's driven by a serious purpose. Josh's story is about resilience, community, and finding creative ways to carry the load for those that have served. If you believe, like I do, that these stories deserve to be seen and heard by more people, please hit that subscribe button. Even better, like and comment on the videos and really help spread the word. If you want to go above and beyond, consider grabbing yourself some merch or subscribing on Patreon to really support the platform and help it grow. You'll find the link in the bio across all of my socials and would love your support. Thanks for being here, guys. Enjoy the show. The Grey Man Podcast is a veteran-run platform dedicated to sharing authentic experiences from current and former service members. These stories are shared to foster connection, understanding, and support within the veteran community. Episodes may contain raw, emotionally charged content that some listeners may find distressing. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Grey Man Podcast, its host, or affiliated partners. The Grey Man Podcast assumes no liability for any statements, opinions, or representations made by guests during interviews or discussions.
Let's go.
Good to go. Welcome, mate. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
No worries. Josh Atkins from Weight of War and previously Army, I assume?
Yes. Yep. Back in the day when it's been 10 years now.
Yeah. What corps were you in?
Catering, actually. So I was a chefo like you. The traditional dumping ground for the blokes that couldn't shoot or really do anything back in World War One and Two.
Or colourblind.
So, yeah, that too. Really, if you just turned up on time and did what you're told, you could do quite well. Wasn't the hardest gig.
Yeah, no, I'm interested to hear about that actually, to see what the difference is, because I've never fucking seen one. I've never seen an Army Chefo at work.
Well, they probably don't live very long, as you know, with the chefs and stuff. So I think, or they just go and chase other dreams.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So where'd you go? Oh, man, you're a Brizzy boy?
Brizzy boy, yep. So grew up on the south side, the dirty south side.
How far south?
So over at Redland Bay, Vicky Point. So Cleveland, Capalaba.
Yeah, right.
Wynnum, that sort of area.
Cool, they're more Bayside than Southside.
Yeah, Bayside. So grew up there. We lived real close to the water, so heaps of fishing, always doing that. And then, I can't remember the year, but halfway through grade 7, we moved up to Port Douglas.
Yeah, right.
Far North Queensland, so even more fishing, but better fish. So instead of catching bream and whiting, we had, all of it, coral trout, barra, all of that. We lived 10 minutes north of Port Douglas, so it's called Cooya Beach. And so we had the Mossman River, the outlet for that, open up, so it's crocs everywhere,
yeah, right.
Stingrays, dugongs, all of it. So
never a beach you could fucking actually indulge in.
Absolutely not. Like you would go ankle deep and that was enough. And like as we just said, I grew up on the Bayside, but up there they all called me a city boy because I rocked up to school halfway through grade 7, rocked up to school with shoes on, and they're like, well, look at this rich fella. And I was just like, excuse me? What do you mean? And they're like, wearing shoes like he's from the city. I was like, all right, well, these are gone. And then just didn't wear shoes. So, but like Port Douglas is lovely, and that's not that long ago, like 20 years or something. So it was as normal as it comes to, I guess, to a normal city, and yeah, just all the kids are like, shoes. So yeah, got some. Oh, sorry, man. I
was going to say, what did your parents do to move you up there?
So it was just me and mum. So I'm a lonely child as well, no siblings. So mum, her job is an accountant, but she actually never went to uni to get an accounting degree.
Yeah, right.
So she was like really good with money, really good with numbers. I don't know if any of that autism kind of flickered down to me, but maybe in other ways. But no, so yeah, she's always worked as an accountant, but without the title. She was doing that. She was working at a golf course, so North Lakes Golf Course down here.
Right.
And then she got a job up at the Port Douglas one, which used to be called the Links, and then it became Sea Temple. I don't even know if it's there anymore now. So she was doing that.
Doing the books for him.
Yeah.
Look out.
Might have been cooking them, don't know. And then so moved up there halfway through grade 7, stayed up there till the end of 10, and then back down here for high school.
Yeah.
So probably the more important stuff.
Back down on the Bayside.
Yeah, back. Well, she actually gave me, in hindsight, I wish I took it. She gave me the option. She said, you can go to boarding school or you come move back into home with me and, back to the same house, because she just rented it out when we moved up there. Kind of wish I went to boarding school because, it would have exactly like the army almost, right? Like you're living in lines and hanging out with the fellas. You hear some horror stories, but you get them everywhere. But just that, I think as well, because as I said, left halfway through grade 7, so I left all those young childhood mates, had to make new ones up there, then left through 10, that sort of like formative, almost like right before you get into adulthood.
Yeah.
So there was a big shake up there in terms of those real like concrete relationships as in those formidable years. If I'm using that, it's sort of formative years, sorry, not formidable. And so I still had a couple of mates from when I was a kid down here, and they were some went to the same school, others didn't. So we kind of reconnected through footy. Before I left, I never played sport. I was just this fat little loser. I think it used to be like Wednesday nights because it was just me and mum. So I was just an absolute fuckwit. Like some of the blokes you've had on here, they have had amazing stories in terms of like the lives they've lived. I lived a very mediocre one, just a bit of a spoiled little shit. We were never well off, but we certainly weren't hard done by. And even
the apple of her eye spoiling you and stuff.
Oh, in a way, like at times I was probably the fucking thorn in the side for 90% of it. But and I think before I crack on, so I think it was like Wednesday nights I would only eat like diced fried bacon.
You would only eat diced fried bacon?
Yeah, that was Wednesday night dinner. So you can imagine the fat little fuck I was. Like just this little thumb that was so entitled that he'd only eat bacon, fried diced bacon. Like,
that's very specific.
I would roundhouse myself in the head if I could go back in time. Just like, you're a dickhead, also invest in Google. But yeah, so complete gob, like was real picky, just a little fat fuck. When moved up north at this same school where it was taboo to wear shoes, there were only 3 other boys in our grade. The rest were girls. So,
of how many?
Oh, there was only one year level, like for year 7. I reckon a class of 30. So
3 boys.
So I was the 4th.
4 boys.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
One of the dudes was weird, like might have been gay, I don't know, which was again taboo back then. So I was like, oh. So the other 2 boys, they played AFL, and growing up in Brisbane, rugby league's everything. So gay AFL. And they played AFL. So I'm like, guess playing AFL now. So started playing that, and sure enough, halfway through grade 8, a combination of puberty and shooting up and playing footy, like I leaned right out. Got too lean because I just kept growing, so hollow legs, couldn't eat enough. Playing footy, was the only way I could make mates. Then stop being a fat little fuck, which was good. So anyway, we moved back down from there. Great time. Like, as I said, fishing also. I think, I remember being 15 years old. We rode our bikes from Cooya Beach into Mossman. So I think it's like a 20-minute ride through cane fields. Walked into the pub, to the Bodlow section of the pub, right next to the Mossman Sugar Mill. And I said, I'll get a carton of Tui's extra dry Teds. They've looked at me and they've gone, okay. As I'm walking out with this carton, my maths teacher's there having a beer. He just looks at me. He's like, looked away. He's like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. Absolutely not.
16?
15.
Yeah, right.
Yep, 15. And then, and this is at night, not in the middle of the day. I think on a Friday or a Saturday maybe. So, and then we're riding with this carton under our leg on our pushies, riding along every time we'd see highlights coming in because there's no street lights. I'm sorry. There's no street lights. So we'd be riding along and then you see like lights come over the sugar cane or something. So you ride down into the ditch, hide because you've got your beers. Don't want to get caught. Anyway, we finally get back to QUB. It's been probably maybe 30, 45 minutes. Beers are warm because, again, it's North Queensland. So we're sucking down these like, yeah, we're the coolest. Well,
You got smashed.
yeah, and I think I had some bum fluff on my chin as well. So that sort of helped get away. But then, so we moved back down. Mum gave me the option. You can go to boarding school or go to Vicky Point High where they've got an AFL academy. I'm like, I'll do that. So went to Vicky Point High, was in the AFL academy. I was never great at footy. I had coaches say, if you took this serious, you might be able to go places. Mum always said, don't pursue football because if you get injured, there's no career after that. So little did she know that the internet would blow up and, people can have their own shows. And if you've got a personality, you tend to do all right anywhere you go. But thanks, Mum, for believing in me. But, so I never followed that. But look, I was never that good either. I was just tall. So it's like tall ruckman, get out there. As long as I can tap the ball and, fumble my way through it. I got myself on representative teams. So played for the Bushies and stuff, which was one of the rep teams in Brisbane, where we play against the rest of the state. And then from there, they picked the Queensland side. Never made the Queensland side. As I said, was never that good, just tall. But that's also gotten me to a lot of places in my life as well. I'm just tall. So people are like, oh, yeah, you must be all right at stuff.
What do you know about? 6'3", 6'4"?
196 centimetres or whatever that is in the old language. Yeah, 6'4", 6'5". But so did that, did high school. I was never great at school either, but kind of pulled my head in for year 11 and 12 because it was important.
Working?
So worked the whole time. It was actually our first job, because Mum worked on golf courses, I got to work on golf courses, so picking up balls, in the machine that drives around on the range. People hit balls at you. So you drop ball, don't, cunt. So worked on golf courses all the way through from year 7 to the end of high school. To year 11 and 12, you're saving up for schoolies. And even back then, so in 2008 when we graduated, it cost us, I think between 5 blokes, it cost us like maybe $1,200 each just for the accommodation. Back in 2008, it was rough. Like you're paying for that, and then you go down, you get your
down to Goldie.
Yeah, down to Goldie. Yep, you go down and then get a carton of beer, and it costs like $30. Like, it was great. I just bought a carton of Great Northerns the other day, and I was like, $55. Like, are you kidding? Like, I remember getting cartons of rum for $40.
Yeah, I know, it's ludicrous.
The Black Rats. We I don't really know where I was going from there. Yeah, so we finished
working on golf courses.
Yeah,
did you play?
I did. So I got all like the old golf clubs that kind of fell into lost property became mine. I was like, oh, nice driver. So I built my kit from there. Short game was immense because we had to go through like the driving range and chip all the balls that the machine couldn't get out of. So I had a really good short game. Long game, not too bad. Couldn't putt to save my life. So I was never going to take it seriously. Just go out there and I was just like driving around on the golf carts, doing skids more than anything. Just clicking that brake, doing 20 Ks. You're like, oh, little half turn.
Give it a roll.
Yeah, try not to roll. Hit the sand bunkers. Brr. That was really good. Got out in graduated in 2008, and Army was always sort of on my mind. We've got a long line of service through the family. So great granddad was on the Western Front. Granddad was a Nasho in the Air Force. Mum's husband now, I call him Dad Freeze, but Ian, like great bloke, love him to death. He was Navy intelligence. And holy, he's got some stories.
What do you call him? Dad 3?
Dad 3, yeah, Dad 2. Dad, no, so his name's Ian, but I just call him Dad for ease.
Oh, for ease.
Yeah, sorry, Dad 3.
Dad 3. Dad number 3.
Dad for ease. I treat him like my dad. Like, I love him to death. Great bloke. So mum got lucky there.
Did they tell you stories and stuff? Did you hear those stories growing up about their adventures?
So yeah, granddad not so much. And he, because I never had a father figure growing up, he was it. me and him were best mates, and also through a big level of respect as well. So like there were times growing up where, because obviously we live down on the Bayside, if you know sort of Brisbane well, it's a bit of a hike getting from there to North Lakes every day. So after school, I'd go round to their place. I'd have to do my homework. If I acted up, it'd give me a clip round the ears, which was generally like a big sort of discipline thing from him. Like I'd get it from him more than mum. So yeah, I respected the hell out of him. He never really spoke about service, and I didn't find out until closer to his death that he even did serve.
Yeah, right.
But then after his death, I gave a eulogy at his funeral, talking to all the boys from like the bowls club and stuff, the amount of respect they had for him, then hearing stories from stuff. He didn't deploy in the Nashos, but hearing all the stuff that he did and just how like good of a bloke he was, how hard a worker he was, that I wish he told me those stories, or I heard those stories while he was still alive, so I could have more chats with him. But yeah, so he was massive influence in my life, and instilled a lot of values that I now really strive to sort of achieve and live by.
Yeah, nice.
And then mum met Ian, I think like right when I joined, so in 2009. She met him, and then so I remember the first time I met him, which is kind of awkward because I'm 19 in 2009. I'm 18 in 2009, so I only know how to communicate with people my age. And then he's also dating my mum, so I kind of look at him and I'm like, what's up here? Better not be touching her.
What are your intentions?
Yeah, do not touch my mother. And like, because mum and I, we had a rocky relationship growing up. Like there was just no respect there. Obviously, being a young-blooded teenager, like you're trying to push limits and get any pushback from a female, and you're like, fuck off, mate. So yeah, there was a lot of pushback there, but I'm glad that there was that pushback there, because now we're really tight. Like I love going home, seeing those guys, having beers with them over Chrissy and stuff. Yeah, nice. So like I heard the other day, you can be friends with your kids when they're young or when they're old, but not both. And if you're friends with them young, you're going to hate them when they're older.
You're going to hate them
when they're older, when they're grown up, the kids.
The kids?
Yeah, because if you're friends with them when they, and look, I don't know the quality.
Oh, if you're not disciplining them. And
not disciplining, not instilling values, kind of letting them run around, eat bacon.
Just being mates.
Yeah, eating bacon on Wednesday nights for dinner. Like, you're probably going to grow up to be a bit of a fuckhead if something doesn't change. So I'm glad that sort of happened, and that was also from Grandad as well. Like I remember one time we were up around Seisha, so the very tip of far north Queensland. We went on a holiday up there, and I went there. Like Grandad came along. And I gobbed off to mum at dinner, like, because I don't know why. Honestly, I think we might have been eating like fresh caught fish up there. Could have been tuna or something. And I got a bone in it, and I was like, oh, I've got this bone. This fish sucks. And I was just gobbing off, being a little lippy shit. And he just clipped me around the back of the head. I went off and sulked and sat outside. He came out, then kind of gave me the 2 cents. And I was like, all right. Went back in, apologised. And
nice.
Yeah, so he was really good. But I guess what I didn't sort of sum up before was when we did move up to far north Queensland and started playing footy, performance became a bit more of a key thing there. So diet cleaned up, started eating a variety of foods, and that sort of then led into just being a normal person. And not being a fat little fuck.
And you had your granddad around enough to give you enough of a good influence to stay semi in line? Yeah,
100%. Actually, there's this funny story. So when I was my growth spurt happened probably halfway through grade 8. So I was just sort of average height, but chubby. Anyway, we were sitting down at morning tea. We were sitting down at morning tea. And this like little midget fella, I'll never forget his name, Alistair Cooper. He's come over. He would have been knee height to a fucking bee's dick. Like he was short, but not legally a midget, I think. Anyway, I'm sitting down and he's come over and just rocked me in the jaw for no reason other than he just did it. Like I've probably spent, there was a big group of us, all grade 8, so maybe 20 blokes sitting together. And he's just come over and hit me and everyone's like, ooh. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't hit this guy. He's small. Like I'll be the bad guy if I hit him. Anyway, so just didn't do anything. Sat back down, talking to the boys. They gave me a bit of shit because I did nothing. Lunchtime comes around, exact same thing. I'm just like, yeah, what can I do? Like this, it's completely unprovoked. What can I do? He's a small guy. Excuse me. I'm still going to be the bad person if I rock him. Go home. Granddad happens to be up looking after me because Mum's back down in Brizzy for a work conference or whatever. So he's flown up to look after me. I tell him, I'm like, Granddad, this is a story. Little fella, he's rocked me. And he goes, okay, if he does it again, knock him the fuck out. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. Sure enough, morning tea rolls around, comes and hits me again. I get up. So I imagine like right now he's probably like lower than my chest, and I just start beating him in the head, just rocking this guy. All the year 12s come running over, so bigger than me, pull us off. They're all in my face. Why are you hitting this little fella? And I'm like, oh, I start crying because everyone's yelling at me because he's just like, he again instigated this. So I cry and I'm like, oh, okay, get sent to the principal's office. And they're like, they find out what happened because they quizzed some of the other people that were sitting there. And they're like, all right, you are going to be suspended for the rest of the week. And I looked at him, you're out for 3 weeks. Go home, tell my granddad. He's like, oh yeah, I got suspended. He goes, whatever you do not tell your mother. Like that is the only thing. He goes, I'm so proud of you, but do not tell your mother. Mum gets home, there's a missed call from the school, and she's just down his throat. What are you doing? Why'd you tell him to have a fight? And he's like, oh, sorry. Anyway, he's like, go pack my bags, see ya. I got back down to Brisbane.
I left you to deal with the consequences.
Oh, so yeah, that was. And anyway, after that, never got bullied again. Nice. If you call it bullying, I think it was just more, hormones and wanting to sort of set a precedence of dominance. I don't know, like however you want to put it.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Maybe trying to fucking prove himself by hitting someone bigger.
Yeah, I think, that bit of small man syndrome as well.
Yeah, that old SMS will get you.
But yeah, ever since then, never had an issue. And then growth spurt, so got pretty tall. So I think people just assumed that I could fight. I'm like, no, I've got a glass jaw. Like, mate, it's a slight gust and I'm down.
Yeah, it's common fucking misconception.
Yeah, but I'll take it. It's kept me out of trouble the rest of my life. So that's been good. But yeah, so then finished year 12, did pretty well for myself there. And again, always had this kind of perception that I wanted to join the army. Also really wanted to trade. So, and I kind of geared myself up to go and be an apprentice carpenter, so to work as a chippy. And so that's what I wanted to do in the army. So I went to DFR in Brisbane City, and I was like, yep, I want to be a carpenter. They said, good luck, got to wait for people to die, get out of that. I was like, oh, okay. So I said, what if I go and get my trade and then I join up? Can I be a carpenter? And they're like, sure, you can do anything, because these are all civilians at the time and they just want to tick everything off. So I was like, all right, sweet, I'll go start doing that. So I started doing some carpentry in 2008, and then the GFC hit and everything just stopped. Like all the money going into job sites, work started to dry up, in the sense of, as well, guys that were running businesses are like, right, where can we cut costs, get rid of some apprentices. They got rid of their labourers as well that they could, because they were also costing more. And I was like, all right, shit, guess I've got to pull the pin here, because there's either no work or...
How much did you get done?
So I joined in 2009, finishing grade out, maybe like 6 months, 7 months. So I went back and I was like, okay, look, yep, want to join. Did quite well on the aptitude test. So they said, you've got pick of the litter. We recommend officer. And I said, not ever, never. I want to work for a living and I want to be respected. Little did I know.
How'd you know that officers weren't?
I don't know. I think I just saw, because again, in 2009, sort of like having a look, like you see just some of the cool videos and stuff that are on the defence website. You're like, oh, we'll do that. And what do officers do? Oh, they do a lot of admin and this. And like,
they tell people to go do that.
Yeah. Mate, I don't want to be involved with that. Anyway, so I'm like, sweet. And they go, okay, well, this is where carpenters fall under. They fall under the engineer corps. So RAE, Royal Australian Engineers. But you can't go direct entry there. You can just go as a combat engineer. I'm like, okay, perfect. Read up on what they do. I'm like, all right, sweet. Sounds pretty cool. And they're like, all right, go away. We'll give you a call when you're ready. When intake comes up. Anyway, I get this chat and a couple of months go by. I get a phone call. I go, okay, we've got an enlistment in October, or we've got an enlistment, I think like next, maybe Feb or March. The October enlistment is you can go in as an ECN 500, or you can wait till later and go in as a combat engineer. I was like, all right, well, what's a 500? And they're like, well, basically you don't go in with any call. You just go to Kapooka and say, this is what I want to do. And then they put you there. I'm like, oh, okay, yep, cool. Like, sounds good. So I can still be an engineer. They're like, yep, absolutely. Box ticked. Yep, sweet. This idiot's in. Anyway, I rock up on the first day, get off the bus. Didn't realise it wasn't at SeaWorld. And they start yelling at us and they're like, all right, here's everyone's calls. And it might have been 2 or 3 days in. Like, oh, you're a 500. Yeah, I want to be a combat engineer. Like, all right, don't think you know how this works, but we're just going to put you where we need you. So I went through all of Kapooka, not knowing what I was going to do. We did, I think it was the day before March out. They're like, right, these are your 2 options. You can be a steward or you can be a driver.
Steward.
In
the army.
Yep. Still had them then. They're gone now.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, they were still back then in 2009. And I'm like, all right, well, what's a steward? And they're like, oh, it's catering corps. I'm like, what's catering corps? It's like a chef. I'm like, the army has chefs? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, what about the driver? Like, don't do driver. I was like, why? They're like, okay, well, you can be a driver or you can be a steward. Drivers are just going to be driving trucks. At least a steward's around food all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm a 19-year-old kid. 18 still at that stage. I'm 18. I'm always hungry. Like, food sounds good. I'll do that. And they're like, yeah, once you get to where you're going to do IMTs, you can just transfer over to engineers. I'm like, all right, sweet, cool, I'll do that. Sounds easy. I'm already here, like, marching out. So I was one of the only blokes who marched out with no corps badge on, like corps hat badge on. So mine was just the puggery and that was it out of everyone. And I was also the big first lid at the parade ground that was standing there. So the first guy to march out, I was like, fuck.
Just fucking no man's land.
Yep. Without a hat badge, like an idiot. And that's like the only thing you've got as a digger as well, your hat badge when you march out of Kapooka. I was like, okay, cool. Get down to, actually, we went home. We were given Christmas off because we marched out just after. So we went down into a holding platoon in Albury. And that was great. Like, so we were just allowed out on the piss. They're like, rock up at 7, do PT, cut away for the day. After that, just make sure you go to the mess for lunch. Like, okay, cool. So we just hit the piss for 3 weeks straight until they got us out of Latchford and down to Cerberus. And then we didn't even know.
So was Army Chef, it was called steward?
No. So there was chefs and stewards. I can't remember the ECNs. So I get down there. I'm the only Army steward. Again, I didn't know what was involved with the job because I didn't even know that there was catering. So I get down there, start doing it, and I'm like, hang on. I'm this bloke that has to dress in polys and serve wine to officers. Fuck right off. Like, you can shove this so far your ass, and then I find out it's a dying ECN. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder. Like, as if you'd want to do this for a job, like just licking boots.
Fucking ironing uniforms and pouring orange juice.
So the army stewards weren't like, because then finding out what the Navy guys do, like they have to do a lot more. It's still, it might still be around now. I've got no idea, but they had a more steward role. We were essentially just kitchen aids in the army. So if you did become a batman for one of like, you know, your Angus Campbell types, then you would be doing a lot more steward roles. So that was ironing and shoe polishing and stuff. But again, who the fuck wants to be a bootlicker? Like, you're contributing nothing.
Yeah, that's fucked.
So I get, I'm down there and I'm like, right, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, well, we have to send you to the psych. You got to do another aptitude test while I'm down at Cerberus. So
you got to the steward school and went, fuck this, and you wanted to go chefo?
I'll get there. So while I'm doing my IMTs, I'm like, this is not what I want to do.
Like,
this is stupid. Like, there is no respect in this job. Like, it is, I'm not doing it. And luckily, a few of the other corps, because as you know, it's a tri-service school. So a few of the other corps were there like, yeah, fair, it is a pretty fucking stupid job. So they got me set up to go see the psych, go do aptitude tests and stuff to sort of get the ball rolling. Like, sweet. At this same time, the OC, I don't know if you know him, Murray McAuliffe. Okay, so he was Navy. The OC or CO, however the school worked down there, he was the coach for the Cerberus footy team, AFL. And he's like, geez, you're a tall piece of pelican shit. You play AFL? I'm like, I sure do. He's like, come down to training. Anyway, so him and I hit it off. I had a good season there for the time I was. Aptitude test, psych test went really good. Like, highly recommend this person goes. Like, he's got a very high aptitude. He's driven, is not suited for catering corps, for Army, because they kind of just go there to be lemmings. Anyway, they're like, right, well, you can't transfer while you're still at IMTs. You're going to have to go and do 12 months, get your private proficient or whatever it is, and then we can look at corps transfer. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I just got to stick this out for 12 months. Get posted up to Darwin, do 5 RAR. So they just split with 7. And they also deployed. So I came into a very empty unit. There was just me, a couple other lids that were posting in, and then just people that didn't get on the trip because they were already in Afghan. So I was like, sweet. Got up there, sort of walking around as the grey man down there, because I was the only, in the school, I was the only steward. So, and I had the boss was also the coach. So, you know, I was almost untouchable, which was great. And big piss culture down there. Like, it was great. I was having a fat old time as a 18-year-old. Had my 19th birthday down there. Me and a mate, Coatsy, he was in the Navy. I can't remember what he was doing, but he was also on the footy team. So we managed to scrounge $20 together for my 19th birthday and get a 4-litre cask of Red Goon and two litre bottles of Sprite, and we just sunk piss in the lines. So that was great fun. Disgusting, but great. So
$10 chuck.
Yep. So so I headed up to Darwin. It was the first place, like, that was my first preference as well. I wanted to go up there. It was completely different. Never been up there, and it was hot because, as you know, Cerberus is fucking cold. Especially standing there in PT gear as you parade in the morning.
Oh, that's so fucked.
Yep, at Sparrows before you head to TAFE. He's like, just get me on that bus, mate. It's freezing. And they're like, you get just the RSM or whatever walking up and back.
I'm fucking doing an inspection.
Mate, so yeah, I want to go somewhere warm, and Darwin sounds warm. So got up there. Anyway, I was lipping off first day, second day, just gobbing off, and had a couple of the corporals. And this is back, so we were posted to units still back then. Had a couple of my corporals and diggers pin me up against the fridge and beat the fuck out of me because I was lippy. So I kind of learnt my place, that I'm at the back of the bottom of the pecking order, because as you go through IMTs, rise up there. Yeah, I'm a senior.
I'm a senior lead now.
Yeah, I'm a senior fucking freshie. So yeah. Anyway, pulled my head in there. Did a couple of field trips with them. It was great. And there was 2 field trips. And then I just get this call one day, and it's Murray, the coach for the footy team. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was walking, like, just on base at the time, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm just walking from the mess to the lines. And he goes, "Do you want to come back down and play footy?" I was like, yes, please. Because first thing I did when I got up there, went to my sergeant. I'm like, hey, when a Sporto's on, I want to go play AFL. And he's like, nah, mate, cooks don't play sport. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not a cook. Can I go play sport? He's like, you don't get to play sport. I was like, thanks, mate. Really appreciate your help. Anyway, is this because I gobbed off earlier? I'm sorry. Like, that's all sorted. Anyway, so I was told I couldn't play footy. So to get this call and say, hey, do you want to come back down and play football? We'll put you on a cook's course, but your main job will be playing footy. And I'm like, absolutely, like football, like send me down there. So by that afternoon, a signal came through, and my sarge calls me into the office, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, I don't know, mate, you haven't shown me yet. And he goes, I didn't call him mate. I go, I don't know, what is it? He goes, this is a signal saying you're going back down to Cerberus. And I was like, I'm going back down to play footy. He's like, what do you mean? What are we meant to do? Like, we're now down a man. I'm like, mate, the unit's over in Afghan. What are you talking? You're down a man. There's no one to look after.
Not enough people painting rocks.
Oh, mate. And
what were you doing? What was your day to day?
Honestly, just helping the chefs out.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So if they needed fucking something done, I'd do that. On the field phase that I went out, I'd have to bloody boil water and set up coffee stations. I was like, this is the shittest thing alive. Like, and again, like I'm a fit young guy. Like obviously don't want to be out digging pits and kicking doors. Like I knew I didn't want to be infantry, but I'm also like, there's more to the army than boiling water.
Yeah.
So, I jumped at that opportunity. So I went back down there, but because I've already essentially finished IMTs, they put me in the like the rated lines, they call them, in the Navy. So the guys that actually posted to Cerberus for the viewers. So it's like you had your IMT lines where all the kids would be, and then you had your rated lines, which is if you're sort of posted to the base or the unit. So you didn't have to intermingle with trainees. So that was great. I had like my own room and stuff instead of sharing a room. Anyway, there was one night out on the piss, got in a blue back at those lines because it was all pass. There was no army, so they're just like, oh, fucking green boy, and all right, let's go. And they kicked the shit out of me. As I said, I've got a glass jaw. I was just like, oh, fuck. So they
didn't stop you trying.
Yeah, they rocked me. And then that got back to the school and the RSM. So our RSM is at the school. And yeah, he didn't like me. He had an absolute gripe against me because I had top cover. Like he essentially like, if I've stepped out of line, he'd have something to jump down on me, but he couldn't just fuck with me for the sake of it because at the end of the day, I was down there to play footy. And so, yeah, he's just like, nah, you're in the training lines now. All right, sweet. So I went in there and there was our lines that we had for catering. It was tri-service. There were a few other corps, or are they called rates in the Navy? Is that the...
Rate different jobs.
Yeah, jobs.
Yeah, rates.
Yeah. So there were a few different rates in there as well, and I think there might have been the mechanics or something. So one of the big boys who played union, he just posted out because he finished his IMTs, and because he was like this big Islander fella, he didn't have to have a bunk bed in his room. It was just a big queen bed, so he didn't have to share with anyone. And these bunk beds, they were sort of, I guess, you get up from the back, not at the side. So there's like the ladder going up the back of these ones. So because I'm so tall, my feet would hang like out through between the ladder, which meant I couldn't turn over in my sleep because I'd just get all jumbled up in the thing. So I went down, I told Murray this, and I'm like, boss, I can't like sleep in here because I'm too tall, but I know, I forget the bloke's name, but let's just call him Smithy. Smithy's just left. He's got a queen bed. Could I move into there? And he's like, that's a great idea. So sure enough, that day it all happened. Just moved my bags and stuff down there, had my own room in these lines. So I got known around the boozer because the females have their own lines. Like, oh, that's the guy with the queen bed. So I was just fucking king of the roosters or hen's house down there because I was just the guy that had the double bed. So they wanted a good sleep. Wouldn't be a long time with me. So it's just, boop, done. I'd roll over and they got to sleep in a queen bed. How good. So it was, just shooting fish in a barrel. Chicks. Yeah. Mate, they just didn't care. Like up and on. And like the booze was great. For a 19-year-old kid, this is just grouse.
That little one across, on base one. Across from the fucking recruits.
Yeah. So you had the mess. Recruits were on one side of the mess and
the booze was over the other side of the road.
I think so. Because when did you go through?
2005.
5? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, most of it's the same from when Dad went through as well, building-wise. But, so right at the end, they had the female lines up along there, and then we were, I think it was like the post office and stuff on one side of that old parade ground, and then it was our lines there. So we would walk out the front door, and the mess was right there. Like you just pretty much walk into it.
Yeah.
So that was great growing up. Got to stay down there for. I got glandular fever at one point. I think like right as it came down. So I actually got back squatted because they had to send me home. I was in hospital for 2 weeks. Lost a ton of weight because couldn't eat. I think it was like one little block of ice cream per day because it was just razor blades in the throat. So they back squatted me, which was fine because I didn't make any mates in that kind of first week. And then, so Still played footy, like played the whole season with the team. It was great. And again, gave me a bunch of top cover. Got real chummy with one of the sergeants down there who had posted from Perth with all the SAS boys, so being a chef for him. And so he's like, mate, I think you'd be great to like post straight in there. Usually they don't take guys straight out of ITs, but all things considering, I think you'd get along. And that's sort of how it works with the chefs as well. It's like if you're known to be a good bloke, but also a good operator at your job, they'll take you because it's a adults game over there. I was like, that sounds awesome. So he did up all the paperwork. That was happening. And then fuck me. So one day out on the piss, rock up to parade in the morning, and I'd literally forgotten to shave. So I've like thrown my kit on, just bolted down. And I don't think we were going into TAFE that day. And so like got a little bit of stubble on the neck, and one of the sergeants, other ones, gets me. So they're like, okay, we're not going to charge it. We're just going to give you an infringement. And then the RSM's like, that's a chargeable offence, not following general orders. So he sent that up the chain and just made sure that, boom, you're not going to Perth now. You're going back to Brisbane instead of Darwin. And you will post into Seven Sisby. And I was just like, that just, world just shattered, because I'm like, okay, sweet. I'm going to be working with some elite people. Never would toy the idea of coming anywhere close to those guys, but just being able to work adjacent to them and see how real operators work was a great thing for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get to do some cool shit with them. So yeah, that blew up in my face. I was like, anyway, but still had this 1-year goal of getting into combat engineers.
Oh yeah, you're still doing that?
Yep. So still had that on the horizon. Anyway, get into Seven Sisby, posted. So this is 2010 now. Had to go back up to Darwin, pack my shit, drive my car down to Brisbane, and then go straight on leave. Like it was literally rock up first day, sweet, sign here, do your paperwork, fuck off, you're on leave. And then the 2011 floods hit. So I get called up off leave, being the newest guy there. They're like, we're sending you out to Ipswich, and you're going to clean shit up. So we were cooking for them and stuff out there. We didn't do any cleaning. But fuck me, I think those Raffies knew that we were there. So we were up at, I think it was like 4:30 or 3 in the morning. We'd get brekkie ready for the fellas. Then they'd go out, they'd do a full day cleaning. We would sleep sort of like from about 9:30 in the morning till maybe 12, and then get dinner ready for them. Start prepping that. And every day on the dot, as soon as we were getting ready to lay down in the cots, you'd have fucking Hornets and C-17s just flying overhead doing their thing. And it's like, mate, come on. Like, this is the only time we get to sleep. We're up at Sparrows. Like, can you not? Oh, fuck, you just flying a little bit lower. Just like, you dicks. So, yeah, that was sort of like first experience as a cook. And it was just basic. Like, as you know, you just flipping eggs and having bacon fights out the back. That's why the boys can only have half a piece. Just bacon fights all the time.
How'd you, what were your thoughts on working in the tri-service school, seeing the way the Navy and fucking Air Force operate? Did you have a air of superiority being fucking green team? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Like, of course. And that's the indoctrination back from the Kapuka, right? It's like everyone that isn't in Defence Force is scum, and then everyone that's not in the Army is scum. So absolutely. But looking back, you know, you can actually see there's a need for chefs in the Navy, because you're out on a boat. There's no need anymore for Army, and that's why it's a dying corps. And they're also very self-destructive as well. It's just the blind leading the blind. But I mean, it's probably normal in a lot of other areas as well. But no, like it was good. And the mates, some of my mates have still got because there was only one other Army bloke when I went through as a chef. Only one other Army bloke in there, and he was, mate, as fucking dumb as a doorpost. Like, that guy literally was the definition of kicking rocks, hey? Like, he was just dumb. And so, like, I can't tolerate idiots too well, especially when it slows down other people. So I would rouse him all the time, like, because he was there just sucking eggs. And I'm like, mate, pick your shit up. Like, you're holding people up. Like, you know, we've got to go through this. And the RSM come down, he's like, oh, you've got to look after him. He's your mate. Right? He's like, not my fucking mate. Like, he's one of those blokes that you're better off fucking getting rid of and using as fucking sandbag. Like, he serves no purpose other than an oxygen thief, which also demonstrates the core, right? Like, it is a dumping ground. And that's...
It's funny how the School of Catering is always run by Army. Because when I was there, we had it was all Army staff as well. Army RSM, Army sergeants.
Yes.
We were like, fucking, what are these cunts fucking hell?
I'm not 100% sure if this is across the other corps, but I think where your school is where sort of the RSM lives, of the core RSM. I think that's where they live. But like, as I said, our boss, he was Navy, so Murray. And then we had this chief there, and he was a chef on the subs. And mate, it doesn't matter if you work on the subs, as you know, like they're just different breeds. Eh? Yeah, he was funny as, like, he was just a crack up. Yeah, and then like, you just had some other dead shits that just live in the core too long, and their brains are fried from flipping eggs. Mate, but in saying that as well, there were some of the values that I took away from the Army have been modelled off some of the guys that I worked with. So some of the corporals when I was a dig, some of the sergeants, like there were some great operators, like they had a passion, like that's what they really liked. But the way they would also manage people was really, really good. And I'm sure you've seen it as well. You've either got the type where they were rock kickers the whole time, so they're micromanaged. They would be given one task, come back and see me when the next task's done. And then because that's the way they were sort of brought up, inevitably when they got rank just from time, that's how they would then treat their digs. And you're like, mate, what are you doing? And then you've got other guys which were just like, all right, here's your left and right of arc. If you stay within that, you're good to go. Like, just do the job, kick on. And so being able to model myself off what I think is shit and then what I think is really good, well, that's how I've moved into business and stuff as well. It's like, you know, give guys chances, opportunities, give them enough rope to hang themselves. And if they do, then it's on them. It still reflects on you as a leader in any sense, but I think that's just better management style. People learn, I learn from mistakes. So I want to give that same opportunity.
Micromanaging fucking is toxic as well, right?
Oh, mate, I remember like for how far we had to walk with our field bay from where the officers were. You know, this one sergeant, he was actually like, he's a pretty good dude out on the piss. Like I went over to Malaysia with him. He like had a heart of gold, but it's just, you could tell that's how he was brought up, and then he gained rank and he thought, oh, that's how I do it. So I'd just we'd go there for the day because as I said right at the start, if you turn up on time and you do what you're told, they just throw hooks at you. Like, yep, here's your first chevron, here's your second one. Like, it's not hard. So I got rank really quick. I didn't seek it out. It was just like, okay, cool. It's better to be a corporal than be looked after by one that's a dickhead. Yeah. So, and then I applied, so some of these really good operators, like Richie Summers, a lot of respect for him, Samo, some really good operators that I respect. Like I modelled myself off them. And then we had some of the dunces of the dunce. One bloke actually lost. He was taken completely out of the section, this secco. Won't drop names, but if anyone's listening that was a cook, they would know who he is. We were on TS11, so Talisman Sabre. We were in a staging ground with a bunch of Yanks, Navy and Marines, and he could not, couldn't look after people, couldn't manage them, couldn't lead them. So we had one of the caterers come over, so CSM, but caterer, he's come over and he's just pulled him out. He's like, nah, you are no longer in command of men, fuck off. So he got stuck on the Merlot. Also, the best job. You're sitting in an air-conditioned fucking forklift, or you're sweating balls over mashed potato. Like, I'm pretty sure I know which job. Like, it's not really a punishment, is it? But yeah, so he was kicked out, and then we had another bloke step in. He was a hard ass, but he was good. Like, he looked after us. And I also remember all the corporals, like, so this same bloke, he's working the Merlot once we're out in the field on TS, the dumbest thing ever. So 7 Sisby, we're right in the middle with HQ. We've got all the other combat corps in a defensive circle, essentially looking after us. They're doing all this stuff on TS11. They're doing mock attacks and stuff, like where they're just trying to feed all the other units. We get our another caterer come over, and he's like, there's an air raid going on right now. And we're doing up hot boxes, and we're like, what cunt? He's like, there's an air raid. You have to go seek shelter. I'm like, we're in the middle of the hotboxing. He's like, yeah, put some lids on. I'm like, fuck off. Just let us do our job. And like, so dumb shit like that. I remember everything went on stand down. Stop X, give everyone a night off. We were still working, but Seven Sisby being, or all Sisbys being SASB, all the boys in the outer part of the defensive circle, they've got fires going on, laughing, having a fat old time. We're sitting there at stand 2 with our guns pointing at them, sitting in fucking pits like, what? Why are we looking at them have fun? We're on the inside. Like, it just, and this is what I mean, it's just dumb cunts. It's just people wanting to be wary. They're like, oh man.
That'd be infuriating.
Oh, but like, and so the story I was getting to, so this bloke that got kicked away from command, he's out doing Merlot shit, whatever, driving around in the bush. He comes over, everyone's working. So I think there's maybe like 20 of us feeding upwards of 3,000-4,000 people. So we're working our asses off trying to get all these hot boxes out so the other guys can pick them up, take them to where they have to go. He comes walking through, not helping at all, and he goes up to one of the other digs who's, you know, I don't know, filling the hot box with whatever. And he's like, mate, where's the coffee station? I just want to have a brew. And all these corporals, you fucking cunt, and just start beasting him. One son just come over, rip him out. It's like, it's probably not safe for you to be in there. And, you know, we're already 2 weeks in, so we're tired, fucking dirty and smelly and shit, sweating on everyone's food. Like, sorry.
There's salt.
Yeah, seasoning. So, yeah, there was dumb shit like that. Which, again, it was good to see that because you can model yourself. And I know you've spoken about when you were having your chat, you can model yourself off the bad and the good. So you see how some of these really good blokes work. You see how the bad ones also operate. Take the job out and apply it just to context. Yeah, and it works well.
See how people respond to that as well.
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, anyway, and again, so I kept getting thrown these hooks, and then finally it came time around to posting. And they're like, right, what do you want to do? I'm like, what to get out of catering? What do you think? And they're like, okay, well, you know, would you go over to Perth? And it's a carrot. Yeah, okay. And again, at this stage as well, I think in my mind, I was like, okay, well, you know, I haven't got a trip. That Talisman Sabre TS11, that was essentially our sort of like, they were picking the guys who were going to go over, I think with MTF4. So, and my name was in the running. I didn't know. But again, just now having a fraction of times, I've been in just a bit longer than breakfast, having a fraction of time under my belt, I was calling some of this dumb shit out. I'm like, mate, like there's a better way to do this. Whether I was right or wrong, I was just vocal to rank. And so then obviously my gob got me off the trip, which was unfortunate and a hard lesson to learn. And I'm like, yeah, I would have kept my mouth shut had you told me that my name was in the ring. Like, it's pointless telling me after the fact. Now I just feel like an idiot. And I still didn't stop being a gob, like always. Just it was not for the sake of it. Like I just would always call shit out.
Yeah, just fucking watch it.
A lot of time to my detriment. Caught the LT lying to us. So under SOPs, I'll get this wrong. Someone can fact check me. No one will. Under SOPs for catering, when we're setting up a field kitchen, I think you've got like 25 minutes to like, you know, get cam nets up. Like that's just what the SOP is, something like that. 25 minutes, get cam nets up, set up X amount of kit, whatever you need, truffers and all of that, to feed X amount of people. And that's just under the SOP. So this LT, fresh out of Duntroon, thinking he's the most warriest dog ever. I'm like, mate, you're an LT in catering. Like, you are the bottom of the bottom. Like, you are so incapable that you can't even do fucking admin work for any other corps. They got to stick you in catering. Like, so chill out, bro. He's like, no, we're going to get this down to 16 minutes. It's like, mate, like to pull everything off a truck, to set it up with only X amount of people as well. I think we had one section. So I think it was me. No, it might have been maybe two sections. It was me and another corporal, and then I think 5 or 6 digs. And we're busting ass. We've been doing this all day. So it was a training exercise out in Shoalwater Bay. We're just trying to get this stuff up and just get it done as fast as we can. It's like, no, not quick enough, not quick enough. The boss wants this done. Like the OC, he wants it done this quick. He was a great OC. It's like, okay, sweet. And because he has walked across, so I think it was a sergeant and a woe, then jumped across to the dark side. And all right, if the boss wants it, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. Anyway, never happened. LT's like, really disappointed with you guys. Well, I was like, you can fucking help, because he's just watching, being a fat cunt. Anyway, so it's end X for that particular exercise, and we go back to another staging ground before we shoot back down to Brizzy. And I go up to the boss because he's got a good relationship with a lot of the guys beneath him, and I'm like, what was the go with the 16 minutes? Like, why were we trying to do that? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how you told the LT that you want us to get this set up in that time? Like, it's I get it if you want it a little bit faster than the SOPs, but like, so maybe say if it's 25 minutes, maybe 22, 20, but why 16? Like, that's a big jump for a lot of work. He's like, I never told anyone to do that. And like, the penny dropped. I'm like, this cunt's been lying to us straight away. No respect, not for the rank, not for him, nothing. I go to our CSM when we go back to base. I'm like, this is what's happened. Like, can you move me into another platoon? I can't work under this bloke. And the CSM was bipolar. So he was either your mate one day or your worst enemy the next. And I probably got him somewhere in the flip of the coin. Mm-hmm. So he's just like, look, just put up with it. I'm like, but I can't respect the man or the rank after what he's done. He's like, no, just put up with it. And then from there, I'm guessing words got back to him, because my PARs every year are golden child, golden child, golden child. Piece of shit, doesn't know how to lead. And I'm like, hang on. He's like, just sign it. If you've got a problem, sign it, and then we can talk about it after. Oh, okay, sign it. I'd like to now talk about it. No, you've already signed it. Fuck. Again, there is a pattern. So yeah, that's that's sort of like when everything started to unravel as well. So I've, making good progress, making mates, outside of work with the rank, in terms of, not being a bootlicker, but like, army everywhere is about, it's not what you know, who you know. And if you rub the right shoulders, you can get places and go through doors that you want to. So just making sure that, that I'm working hard for the right people and telling the others to quietly fuck off. Sometimes not quietly. But yeah, so then when this LT's come through and he sort of worked out that I'm like, you're a dickhead, I have no respect for you, and I've asked the bosses to get out, he was just riding me to the point where, like, we would go out and because we did a ton of field work, because we were CISB, we looked after every unit, so we're always out doing stuff. He would just be like, you're not doing this right, you're not doing this right. I'm like, you can't boil water. Like, you are so incapable that you wouldn't be able to tip water out of your boot if the instructions were on the heel. Like, don't tell me how to do my job.
Sure.
Oh, so like, it just all went downhill from there. And so, that's when, like, all right, fuck this. So we're just out drinking, we're doing stuff. And again,
how long are you in for?
Got out in 2015. So a little under 6 years, because it was 2009 I got in. But it was the end of 2009, start of 2015. And yeah, so it just sort of started to unravel from there. And I was like,
you fucking threw away the CER dreams?
Yeah, so once I had this carrot of still going to Perth, I'm like, right, if I can do that, because there's no way I could do it as a combat engineer, unless you go east and you go SOA. So I'm like, this is an experience that not a lot of corps get to have, and ours is so tiny, so I can still get that experience, still get the chance to work adjacent. Obviously never to that level. I have so much admiration for either east or west. But yeah, just getting that chance to work adjacent to them.
Rubbing shoulders with that.
And not even to add, I just wanted to see how the elite operate. You've got all the stories, you see all the movies, the books and all of that, but seeing how they operate. And like, yeah, as I said, we hear stories. I had a sergeant down in Perth. We had one of the corporals that I really tried to model myself off and take away some good learnings from. He had worked over there as well, inevitably posted back over there. So I still wanted to do it, because I'm like, if I can do that and then go engineers, happy days. And I saw myself as a lifer. So I'm like, there's no real rush to get this done. Like, I love the green, love everything about it. But it's so funny how you go from one set of bosses, which are just kind of all about the boys, or there's just that culture even within the platoon or the company. And then you get a rinse come through and all these new ones come in and it just tanks.
Yeah.
And I think this also happened from the top, so right from the CO, because we had my first year there was one CO, he posted out, new one came in, Kingy. This man knew every digger all the way up everyone's first name. He learned everyone's first name in the unit. So straight away you respect the bloke. It was one of the... At Sisby.
Fucking hundreds and hundreds of names.
Knew everyone. He would walk through the boozer on a Thursday after Sportos. Josh, how you going? Like, Jesus, what? You know my name? Like, what list am I on? Knew everyone's name.
What list am I on?
Yeah, knew everyone's name. Like, so the amount of respect we all had for our boss, the CO. Not only that, I think that his tenure when he was CO, it was the only time there was a net positive of people in the unit, like, so not discharging, but posting in. He was the only person that, from what I knew from a couple postings back and even after, that there was a net positive because he just set the culture. And culture's not hard for pogues, right? Just do your job, don't get fucked over. Like, we're not SASB, we don't need to dig pits. Just get in there, do your role, fuck off. And so, yeah, there was just a great culture. He posted out, new one came in and went straight back. There was a net negative of people like just did discharge after discharge going through in his first year. So, yeah, it's all about that culture. And that's where, I don't know if it was from that level, but certainly I saw from our company level come through. And it was just like there were some bad actors in there, all about themselves, didn't care about any of the boys.
Yeah. That 2 or 3 year stint from the tourists if I can really make or break a soldier's time, eh? And if you can't, like, you can't look forward and go, I only have to put up with these cunts for 2 more years. But 2 years is a fucking long time if it's toxic.
And look, in hindsight as well, I think I must have been maybe around kind of 22, 23, sort of when all that happened. So there's not a lot of life experience in the back end. I'm a full track, so I've got people under my command. There's some that are almost double my age, like some older boys coming through. So there's right now, I think from everything I know and from everything I've lived through, like 2 years is like, this is going to be shit, but there's potentially something good on the other side.
Yeah.
Just head down, shut up, move on.
Yeah, when you're young though, 2 years is a fucking eternity.
Long time, full of testosterone. You think you know everything when you know absolutely nothing. So yeah, it just. What's interesting is because I'm currently going through my DVA stuff now. Finally pulled the pin after 10 years. I'm like, maybe there's something there. And I'm reading these, I'm reading all my psych reports and stuff at the start. Like, just basically, this guy knows what he's doing. He's driven. You can see he loves the army, he's passionate, all of this. By the end, shell of a human, piece of shit, fucking hates it, but he's sad all the time.
Jaded as fuck.
100%. So, and funnily enough, like, that was actually quite triggering for me, like, because there's been so much time now to reflect and only think about the good stuff. I've got to be sort of in the mind frame to think about any of the bad stuff. Like, that's just how, I guess, my pattern and memory recognition happens. But yeah, as I was reading through that, I was like, oh fuck. And then I just started remembering all this stuff and I almost spiraled. Nothing, not like an episode or anything, but I was just like, fuck. And so I was kind of like down for a couple of days just after reading how happy I used to be or how happy I was perceived to a psychologist to then from there and getting out.
Yeah.
And then you go through the med records and it's the rocking up to the RAP, like, as saying he's got a drinking problem, all of this. And I was just like, fuck, I remember that. I actually remember that day, 13, 14 years ago, where we had this massive field X and then a comeback and this same LT is just like, you're fucking, I'm going to make sure that I end your career. And you're just like, whoa, what? Excuse me? And then I've already been told to shut up by the CSM and just deal with it. So it's just, all right, on the cans all weekend, making dumb choices. So yeah, I was like, oh, wow, actually, it's true. They say like time does heal a lot of wounds because you just forget all the shit sometimes. In my case.
It's like an abusive fucking relationship to you. Fucking remember the good times. And
Yeah. So maybe they weren't so bad.
yeah.
Maybe I do join back up. So yeah, so in 2015 got out day after Australia Day. So what's that, 27th, I think?
Just volcept.
Say again?
Just volcept. Fucking put your papers in. Voluntary.
Gone. So got out, and that's when at the time didn't know what was happening. In the sense of having a massive identity crisis because of just gone from, back end of 18 through to 20 odd.
So you just gave up on the going west?
Yeah, or I was told.
Or combat engineers?
Just told that that's not going to happen anymore. Because again, this RSM who didn't like me back down the school went and started his new posting at Schema. So he became my Schema rep.
Oh, no
and
way.
it was just like fucking, now's my time to fuck you over. So I was like, no, I can't handle this anymore. And again, like there was between the bosses, and what's really annoying right now is obviously thinking back on it, if I was able to place myself right now in that situation, I'd handle it completely different. There'd be multiple other avenues that I could go down. But again, not knowing what I didn't know, just made poor choices. And so, got out in 15, went through a massive identity crisis, didn't know what I was going to do, thought, I've got the gift of the gab, I'll just go do sales stuff. And it was actually Mum who was like, well, you love footy, you love fitness, why don't you go and be a PT? I was like, great idea. So, did that. Had a full working client list before I was even qualified, so I just went and shadowed. So
no insurance.
No insurance. I mean, look, in actual fact, it is really hard to break people. Like, you got to do some dumb shit to break people. If you follow basic principles, as you know, as an EP, it's quite hard. If someone's not already broken, it's quite hard to break people. You got to do dumb shit. But anyway, so started doing this PT course. I was doing it part-time. Actually got a gig working at Suncorp, cooking there just as a bit of extra cash because the bloke who was the Suncorp Stadium.
Cooking what? Fucking Dagwood dogs?
Yeah. So
fucking fries.
They've got their president's suite and all of that up there. So it's literally it's fried food. But so the guy that runs the show there, he was an ex-cook in the Army. So he's like, mate, you got the job. Like, I know how you operate.
No question.
And I just said to him, like, mate, I hate cooking. Like, everything I did in the Army, like, I spent as much time outfield to get away from the kitchen as I could. Like, always first hand up, semi-outfield. Like, it was easy, roughly 6 to 8 months every year I was outfield because all the units would be going, like, yep, I'll jump on with them. I'll jump on with them. Always have a hand up because I hated the kitchen. And so, I was just saying, I hate something. It's all right. Just come in and do what you want. We'll just put you in this section. Okay, cool. So you just do a bit of prep, fuck off. On the game day or a concert day, I'd get put up in the president's suite area, so where all the corporate boxes and stuff are. And so the dude that would sort of like, he was, I guess, the boss of the area, he's just like, mate, we've got all of this under control. If you want to have a couple of beers or if you want to just sit out on the steps and watch the show or the footy, like, he goes, I don't give a fuck. I was just like... So I saw like the Foo Fighters sitting next to the president's suite when they were in town, watching a ton of Broncos games, a couple of rugby union games, Australia. Watching all them was great. So just did nothing, got paid for it. I was like, this is sweet. As I was doing all my PT stuff. And so one of the competencies, you have to go and shadow, just like uni. So you have to go and shadow another PT so they can say, oh, yep, you've seen what to do before they sign you off. I knew this was coming up, so I went and hit up Genesis over in Windsor under Sam Mercer. He was the PTM at the time. I just said, mate, I need to do the shadowing. Do you mind if I just come along and watch? He's like, yeah, absolutely. I think we only had to do like 50 hours. I ended up doing over 200 with him. So I got to meet all these clients and stuff. And he evidently, I said, I'm like, mate, I love this gym. Can I come and work here once I'm qualified? He's like, he goes, yeah, you can. But also, I'm going back to England for like a month or two to visit family because I've been over here for so long. Do you mind looking after all my clients? And at the same time, you can build up your business. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I just walked in, had a stacked list, like his whole list, looking after all of them. I'd been shadowing for the last 200 and something hours, so they all knew me. They were happy to either pay him and then through me, or just hand me the cash. And at the same time, build up a business. So I just worked the floor and did that.
Nice.
Built up a business there, and from 2015 until I started managing a different gym. And then in 2022, I went to uni. And so just last week finished my degree. So I think that was when I called you.
Psych, was it?
No, so sport and exercise science. I had to do a psychology assignment. That was the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is an absolute joke. Won't get into that. Just in terms of like, here, learn this. You're not allowed to use it. Fuck.
The psychology of exercise and stuff.
Yeah.
Sport and exercise science, where'd you do that?
Why?
Who'd you do it with?
So I went to QUT, did it through there. The why originally was, I wanted to get more into high performance and especially sporting teams. You can definitely get work in sporting teams once you get your ASCA level 2. Now ASCA level 2 pro. But just also wanted to do more than that. So eventually go
Opens up, more doors.
Also wanted to go level 3, and you have to have a degree to go level 3. You won't get a look in without it now under their new restructure. So I was like, all right, sweet, I'll do that. I just go in, it's 3 years, tick the paper off, and then I'm able to crack on, keep running the business. But it was in the first semester in one of our subjects. It was, shorthand, it was called coaching. I forget the longhand name, but it's basically it's all about skill acquisition and how people learn, like through self-determination theory, motivation, how they learn.
Stages of
stages of learning, Bandura. So it was actually Adam who sort of gave his life story in the first lecture of, he used to be like I think he was like a sales rep, and then he went to this, this is no context. He then went into real estate and then got into coaching and then did a degree and then got into research, worked with the Australian swim team, like taught these guys new skill acquisition principles and stuff, and changed diving patterns, which improved times. I was like, whoa, research, that's a thing. Okay. And so after that, I just started looking into it, and I was like, okay, I think I'm really interested in this research element. I've always quite inquisitive, and I value knowledge a lot. So started kind of shifting the priorities, not away from high performance, because I think it's really important to still have cut your teeth in industry first, because you get a lot of these academics which potentially go just all the way through, like they've never worked in industry across any discipline. So I think to sort of have any credit, because a part of an academic's job is 40% research, 40% teaching, 20% like other stuff, conferences and whatnot. So if you want to garner any respect from students, you've got to have done time in whatever industry it is. If you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, like you're not going to have a lawyer teaching you about law and they've never worked in practice. You would hope. So I was like, okay, sweet. Like I really love this research side of it. I'm going to start gearing towards that. So I was quite fortunate enough to both volunteer my time, but also get paid to conduct research. So one interesting project we worked on, Kate, who's now finished her PhD, she was looking at the cooling times for females' core body temperature, because our current literature we have is only done on men. And so if you heat up too much, whether you're playing sport or you're in a hot working environment, say the mines, we know what to submerge you, like how cold. So ideal 2 degrees, most likely is going to be 12. So we've got time frames for that to bring your core temperature, if it's over 40 degrees, down. So you don't die of heat stroke. We don't know how women cool down. It's never been tested. So we just assume that it's the same with men. Turns out they actually cool quicker. I believe one of the hypotheses was that they would cool slower because of more body fat, tits and ass. No, turns out they cool quicker. So got some exposure to kind of how this is now going to affect. There's going to be new doctrine come into place of how we cool females. I was like, okay, that's like really cool. Not quite my jam, but really cool. And I got to get paid for that. So I was a paid research assistant while still doing the degree.
Awesome.
And then also got to do some work with hamstrings, so sprinting and looking at validation between equipment. So an IMU, internal measurement unit. Have you ever seen any of those? Basically, it's this tiny little thing, actually almost like the size of a whoop, and it just measures in space, like 18 different positions that can happen.
When you say internal, where's it going?
Oh, yeah. no, actually, let me tell you about that heating one as well. But no. So IMU, because you can stick it anywhere and then measure. So we were sticking it on the sacrum. We needed to validate that against Viacom. So the 3D cameras, which reconstruct. So when you've got the reflective markers, if you've ever seen guys that are doing Marvel movies and all that. So they've got the 3D stuff. So that's a Viacom camera. So it's gold standard in the literature. So we were validating the IMU against that. That was the research that I was involved in that Zane was doing for his PhD. And that was really cool. So we just got people to do sprints down at the cricket centre at Albion, where the Australian Cricket Centre. We were just getting them to do sprints up and down the cricket things with all the cameras on, all the dots and the IMU. Turns out it's valid, which is good for Zane. So, yeah, so talking about internal, part of this study with Kate, so you had to go into a 38 degree heat chamber at, I think it was 80% humidity or 60% humidity, and you had to run until you got up to 39 degrees internally. Yeah, right. So there's only two ways we were measuring that. There was the esophageal probe, so it goes up your nose, down the back of your throat, and sits there, and the other one's up your ass. Luckily, they're no thicker than a cotton bud. But first time I had to ever stick anything up my ass, and I was like, fucking what? Because I was like, I can't be an RA and not be a part of the research as well. And mate, that is weird. Running on a treadmill in a hot fucking room with a probe up your ass and down your throat, like touching at each end.
That's how they test for when cunts go down in the army as well.
Yeah, stick up the ass.
Send them down to Sydney and do a heat test, and they got to run on the treadmill with a probe up their ass.
Yeah, so it's weird. And I mean, like, once it's up there, you don't feel it because it's not moving around. But
the one down the nasal
esophageal,
that'll be uncomfortable.
It sucks because although it's hot and humid, you're still breathing through. You're breathing hot air down, so it's kind of because it's moving like around the sort of voice box and stuff. So you've just got this thing moving around. You get sort of scratchy throat, and you're trying to drink water, but you're running and sweating your ring out. So it was all for science. Now I've done it once. I shouldn't have to do it again, hopefully. But yeah, so fell in love with the research element. So really geared everything up towards that. Finally finished. Grades aren't out yet, but I'm easily GPA's way high. So
nice.
The lowest I'll finish with is what it's at currently, 6.2. I think it can potentially, because I've got 2 7s just waiting on psychology to come out. Depending if I've got a 5, 6 or 7 there, will depend sort of how far that ticks upwards.
Fucking show off.
Yeah.
How do you go with time? Like fucking one of the biggest things for me with uni when I did my my honours paper was fucking the amount of time that goes into research.
Yep. So I've just submitted yesterday the first proposal for the research assignment. So for an MPhil, Masters of Philosophy. For those that don't know, there's 2 types of masters. There's masters by coursework, think MBA. And then there's Masters of Philosophy, which is just research. So you have a hypothesis, you test it, potentially produce a paper, which gets published, but no matter what, still write a thesis. And then from there, you can go to your PhD, because we didn't have don't have an honours program for the degree. So have to go down that route, which is fine. So I've just submitted that, which was like a very mini lit review. Like there's 7 papers I looked at. We're looking at laser speckle and thermal imaging. So I think I didn't know what laser speckle was until I spoke about it with my supervisor. I was like, what the fuck is that? So what it is basically, pretend that's a foot, but what they use it a lot for at the moment is peripheral neuropathy with diabetics, so that dying tissue. Yeah. This laser can measure sort of where the blood is on the surface. So you don't get an internal measurement, but it's like, okay, where are the blood vessels moving? Where's necrotic tissue? There's also a lot of other applications as well for the brain, a whole bunch of other stuff. But that was sort of the easiest way that my supervisor explained it to me, but it's not been done yet in a sports science application. So from Kate's research, there's now another guy doing his PhD, sort of progressing along where she finished. So a continuation of that. So where this fits in nicely for the MPhil is we're going to see if are we getting the same sort of results as we do from thermal imaging on someone's arm with laser speckle as well. So almost like a validation, but validation study, but not quite. At the same time, they would have just done a heating protocol, like I spoke about, and then they're going to be in the ice bath while I'm measuring that. So we're seeing the difference in heat dispersion and how that works with our AVAs in the hand. So what's it? Atriovenous astomoses. It's just a sort of different, more of a short circuit of how you cool down. So we're going to look at that, see sort of what's happening while they're in the ice bath cooling down.
Yeah. Well.
And then from there, that should only take a year because a lot of the data that needs to get measured, everything's already set up. So in R and Python, I don't need to build that from scratch, which would take a lot of time. So hopefully a year there, and then can move into a PhD where there's a new centre's just been open looking at wearables. There's a $5 million grant from the government there. So really nice big scholarship. Not $5 million, but
all goes to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And scholarship's tax free as well, so we'd be living the high life if that was the case. No, but hopefully, can get all of this done. Like worst case scenario, 4 years, and then come out as a doctor of warm heat. So it's thermophysiology. So yeah, doctor of warm.
Nice. Fuck yeah. I love accolades and fucking things, like getting belts in jiu-jitsu and getting degrees. And when I did my honours and I got my paper published.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was it on?
It was on the effectiveness and feasibility of a student-led exercise rehabilitation program in a community schizophrenic dwelling.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the outcome?
So all of the markers for schizophrenia improved. So you have positive and negative for people with schizophrenia. So the positive symptoms are like hearing voices and seeing things that aren't there and stuff like that. It's like adding something to their personality that's not there. And then there's a negative, so it's the lack of empathy and apathy and muted emotion and all that sort of stuff. So we had a team of psychiatrists and doctors and nurses and EPs on the fucking in the dwelling in the community. It's like there's like a doctor's office with all the different team in there, and then like there's 20 rooms, like an apartment complex where all the people lived.
Yeah, okay.
So within the centre there was all of those practitioners, and then so everyone got put through a full battery of testing by the doctors and psychiatrists. So we tested all of those markers for the schizophrenia, and then there was the metabolic testing as well, so weight, and then all the blood markers and stuff, and then 6 weeks of three boot camps a day. So we were just in the morning, everyone could come down into the communal area, do a little boot camp in the courtyard there, do that 3 times a week, and then they get tested once at midway, once at the end.
Yep.
To see what improvements happen. So there was definitely positive results with all of the schizophrenia stuff, but no change metabolically. But in saying there was no change is kind of good, because with all of the antipsychotics and stuff, there's like massive amounts of weight gain generally. And because there was no change at all, like they didn't lose weight, they didn't get better markers with their glucose and stuff like that, but they didn't get worse. So that was positive in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So although there wasn't like this shining, like, look how much better they got, it was like they didn't get worse. They maintained exactly where they were.
Yep.
And they were happier. Some of them were smiling at the end of it and stuff, and they felt more connected. And yeah, their symptoms of schizophrenia fucking improved, which was amazing.
That's awesome. Well, and that's also a good leaping off for more research. Like if there's obviously no change in that, because how long did you say it was? 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's, as you know, very small amount of time to see changes physically as well and metabolically. So if there was a more longitudinal study done with that, like there'd be potentially some like more statistically significant results in that area.
Yeah, for sure. The whole point of it was we had a lecture from a psychiatrist at uni like a few months before we went to honours. And she was like, if anyone wants to do anything in mental health, hit me up because we're like, we need people. So I went straight to her and I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah, nice.
And so I was the only one. And she was like, if you do well in this paper, we'll probably get it published because this is something that needs to be sort of looked at because there's no fucking funding for exercise in Queensland Health, and especially the mental health wing. So she's like, we can't hire an exercise physiologist to come and do fitness with them. So we need students to do it. So we need you to write a fucking paper on the feasibility of students doing it so that we can get more students to do it.
Yeah.
And kind of make it an ongoing sort of placement program that students can sort of feed into. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to see that, Harley Fox research, you'll find it online.
Google Scholar.
Google Scholar, that's it. That'll be the number one thing that pops up.
that is awesome. I mean, that's a dream as well. Like if I can, I hope because of the novelty that this one will get published, like the MPhil, it should. And regardless of the result, if the result is no, it doesn't work, it should get published. So then other people don't go chasing down that rabbit hole. And if it does work, then it's like, okay, cool, we've got a new feasible way of measuring how heat dispersion works, especially around the forearms.
Yeah, well, it's good, good stuff up on this part of the world or down on this side of the world. With the amount of heat and humidity our athletes have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my supervisor, Ian Stewart, he's done a lot of stuff with defence, mainly the Yanks. They came over here and gave him funding. So he was looking at sort of cooling apparatus and ways of heat getting measured with all the EOD boys, so explosives ordnance disposal, and in the big bomb suits. So they were measuring that up in Darwin. So his lab's down here in Brisbane, they were doing stuff up there, measuring that. And then they were looking at some kind of cooling interventions whilst in the suit. So like they had some fan operated stuff, liquid cool type stuff. And of course, with all of that, they were then looking at energy loss from the person because it's just more weight. You're already under the weight of the suit in a hot environment.
Oh, yeah.
Doing fine motor skill stuff, snipping wires, potentially blowing shit up. Or yourself. So I can't 100% recall the outcome of the study, but yeah, he does stuff like that. He's got so this heat chamber that we work in, it's basically like it is a fridge, a commercial fridge, just that heats up instead of cooling down.
Right.
But they can cool it right down as well. So he does some real cool shit in that lab.
That's what you need to find is something that needs to be researched that people that have money want to know about.
Yep.
I got offered a PhD when I finished my honours because I got published and fucking did pretty well with it. And I thought about it. I was like, Dr. Fox, yeah, I like that. And I was like, no, I can't fucking do this for another 3 years.
One thing that I hope happens in my life after this happens is I'm ever somewhere and they go, is anyone here a doctor? Because I will absolutely go, yes, I am. And they're like, this person needs your help. I'm like, not that kind of doctor.
More of a doctor of philosophy.
Yeah. Are they warm? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, I don't have my equipment here, so I don't do anything.
Fuck. So going back to, you got out like nearly 10 years ago now?
10 years, yeah. 2015.
So you said you sort of struggled to find yourself and find your identity and purpose. What ticked you over onto the other side?
Huge. So I think it's only in hindsight I was able to identify that. So at the time going through it, I didn't think that I was sad or that I'd lost identity. I knew I wasn't a soldier anymore. And that day of getting handed a certificate and a plaque on my last day, see you, mate, don't let the door slap you on the way out. It literally just, you walk off base, and I walked on base as a soldier. I walked off base as a civilian. And there's back then, I don't know if it's changed now, there was no like, oh, have you thought about purpose and stuff? It was just, okay, sweet. So as I was actually walking off, like I teared up a bit. I was like, fuck. I thought I was going to be a lifer, but I'm not now. And so I just kind of threw myself, like, because I already had started setting up, like, okay, well, the next intake date for this PT course is that. So, all right, that's what I'm going to be. So I think the need or want or survival mechanism of filling that void was, okay, now throw yourself into that.
Yeah.
But even in conversations and stuff, like, obviously all I'd known for the last 5 and a bit years prior was being a soldier. So I'd still tell stories. I'd go, oh yeah, I remember doing this. I try and relate current experiences back to what happened when I was in. So looking back on that now, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're struggling with identity. But then it was just a couple of beers will numb everything.
Yeah.
So from that, yeah, like just running havoc, like through beers, party drugs, just quite self-destructive, but also like I was managing in terms of being able to still get good grades in this course and do that stuff in the intro, like the chef stuff at Suncorp Stadium. But yeah, it took ages, and I think sort of because I was just so busy all the time leading up to that. So like, because did I hear that you did PT stuff before you did your EP or no? Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so, you get up at Sparrows for those people that want to train at 4:30.
Before and after work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're busy all the time, and in the middle of the day you're training or napping. So I was just busy 24/7, moved eventually into, so I think it was around at the start of 2019, started managing a gym, and then COVID hit 2020. And so from going just non-stop all the time with clients, working, partying, all of that, to just boom, stop and being stuck with your own thoughts. It was a realization, because before then I was just sort of like, mate, mental health can be solved with a good gym session. You're going to feel that is literally the key to the world.
Yeah,
99%. An element of me still believes that 99% of your problems generally can be solved through constant training, good eating, just good habits, sleeping and all of that. Obviously, I understand there is a nuance. However, I still firmly believe a lot of your problems can. Sometimes it's just you're in a space where if you've got your headphones in, you can just turn the music off and train and think through stuff. But yeah, COVID hit, and going from 100 miles an hour to nothing, you're like, oh, okay. First of all, I miss the community around me, like the training community, because it was a class-based gym that I was managing. I miss that community, but at the same time, you're like, oh, I had time to think. I'm like, fuck, like I miss this community, and I now identify myself years later as a personal trainer, S&C coach. I can see now that I actually was going through stuff back when I first left, and I was having a tough time. I didn't realize it, but now it was sort of like the kind of the penny dropping, like, oh yeah, mental health comes in different forms. Because other than hating my bosses, getting out, being a bit of a sad sack, but cracking on, I thought I got out completely unscathed compared to mates that were going through the trenches, that were really suffering, because I would see them and I'm like, they have problems, I don't. Like, come on, mate, like, you're still fine, you can operate at a normal level, you're okay, in comparison. So yeah, it was not until going through spicy cough and getting locked down.
When you had to stop and fucking reflect.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so after we sort of came back online and got past those snap lockdowns that they were doing every 6 minutes, fuck me. For my birthday, we were, for my 30th, we went up to Noosa, and the day we got up there, Elle and I, Brisbane went into lockdown, but Noosa didn't. So we've checked in and stuff, and we heard that afternoon, Brisbane's gone into lockdown. Get a knock on the door at 6 o'clock at night. You have to stay in the room because Brisbane's in lockdown and you've come from there. I'm like, mate, we're fine. Meanwhile, Elle's dying of the flu. Dead set. She didn't have COVID. Because we did a swab test, but she was just crook. She had it probably wasn't the flu. She was just real crook. So I'm like, just fucking stay in the back. So yeah, she's dying, but they're like, you have to go into lockdown. And you're like, what? Oh, mate, we're fine. Like, it's okay. Like, no. And I'm like, well, I don't want to spend 4 nights in a room up in Noosa doing nothing. They're like,
I'm not fucking paying for this.
Yeah, we'll give you a refund. I'm like, for tonight as well? They're like, nah. You use it, you pay for it. Fuck. All right, whatever.
So we'll give you a refund, but you have to fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we stayed there that night because we were already in the unit, in the apartment. They're like, no.
No, I thought you meant like, well, you can stay the 4 nights in the room and we'll give you a refund.
Oh, that'd be sick. Anyway, so a bit of a side tangent. So, yeah, once we all came back online and getting to know Dane a bit better from Survive to Thrive, well, I guess I'll talk about how I met Dane. So Elle and Dane, Dane's CEO of Survive to Thrive Nation, they are an organisation that, well, now they do EAP, so for the civilian side, but when I met him, it was just all veterans. And so very much talks about identity, has a course that's been through a couple of clinical trials, and just some great testimonies coming from people that have done it. You can throw as many clinical trials and stuff as you want. They carry weight, but when you've got a whole lot of people saying like, this has changed my life, then that carries weight because it's guys that have gone through the shit, that have struggled, that are now doing a lot better. So I saw him and I became mates and sort of knew what his business was, but we were just more mates than anything else. So I started seeing talking to a lot more people that had done the program. They're like, mate, this changed my life. This was great. I never personally have done it. Also don't feel I need to take up a spot for it either. But talking to all those people, I'm like, sweet. So we just got chatting. It's like, mate, how does this actually like make money in terms of like, I know veterans don't pay to go on it, but I also know like that obviously you're not paying it out of your own hip pocket. He goes, yeah, so it's just, we get funding from the government or from people giving us donations. For every $2,500 that we get, that puts a veteran, like that gives them a spot. They pay nothing. There's no time frame. They take as little or as long as they need to get through the modules. They've got community assistance, so guys that sort of act as community leaders. So if someone's having a tough time, they go straight to them. A peer mentor, that's what they call them. They've got peer mentors. So there's just this great community network where guys and girls can vent, do whatever they need to do. They've got people that have gone through it and finished it, that are doing well. They've also got each other that are at different stages that might be having certain issues, whatever it might be. So it's a great setup. And the best thing is it's no cost to a veteran. So I was like, all right, sweet. Well, if you run off donations, I'm going to just try and do something to make some money to give to you. So he's like, oh, awesome. Really appreciate that. And so if you recall, everyone during COVID became a marathon runner. Couldn't go to the gym, so all they could do was run. Awesome piss. Yeah. So everyone started running marathons, running halves. Like you had people that did marathons running around in their living room for those that were in like crazy lockdowns, but everyone was out running. And I saw that and I was like, okay, cool. Everyone's out running, but everyone's also showboating that they're running. Like, oh, I went and ran 21 Ks or ran 42, whatever it was. I'm like, okay, cool. And, be proud of an accomplishment. Anyway, I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, well, running that sort of distance is hard, but you're also running at a very advantageous time of year. So it's cool. Like the weather's not too crazy. You step off at Sparrows. You're in before lunch. Ironman's a different story. Oh, never shit talk them, those guys. But they are Ironmen and triathletes as well. A lot of respect, but like, you set yourself up for success. And if you've done a decent amount of training, like anyone can run a 21 if they do enough training. 42 is a little bit harder, but yeah, anyway. So I was like, okay, well, I want to raise some money. I want to keep it fitness-based because I've done little charitable events for other things as well throughout the time. I want to keep it fitness-based. What do? I think I've never run more than 2.4K for a BFA in my life. I think running's stupid. Why are you running from your problems? Face them head on. I'm like, all right, well, I'm definitely not going to run a marathon because that's silly. No one's got time for that. I'm like, I'll try and run a half. And I'm like, but no one will give me money for just running a half. So I'm like,
everyone does that. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. And everyone has literally just been doing it. So this is in 2021. And I'm like, all right, everyone does that. I'm like, well, if I am going to run, what can I do to sort of set myself apart? I'm like, well, I want anyone that does come along to like have fun. So I want to have beers at the end. So when's one of the most joyous times generally on the calendar? It's usually around Christmas. Can't go right on Christmas because everyone pisses off to go do stuff, and it's still that very defense mentality. Like you used to just all your mates starbursting over Christmas because they all go back to where they're from. Go back to all right, we'll do it at the start, like before sort of silly season kicks off. So early December, first Saturday December, that's when I'm going to do this run. And I'm like, that's still not hard enough because I can't just step off at any time. I'm like, what if I run through the middle of the day? And this came to mind because my first year in, I had to do I forget what they call it now. It's just basically I had to stay on base for the skeleton crew, for the guys that did have duty on all the other units. So I had to stay on base and look after them and feed them. So the only time...
RTP.
Yeah.
Just tempo.
Yeah, that's it. So the only time cooks got to train as well was after lunch service because we were there getting ready for brekkie, getting ready for lunch, get that little downtime, and then dinner. So I used to go out and run in the middle of the day. Again, only 2.4 because that's as far as I had to run. But it was the hottest part of the day and it was fucking tough. But I ended up getting really fit because also wasn't on the piss. But I was like, all right, sweet. I'll run in the middle of the day. That sounds right. And I'm like, I also want people to look at me and go, why is that guy running? So I'm like, what if I run in dick togs in a weight vest? And that's sort of where the idea got birthed. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to poke fun at people that run marathons at, 3 o'clock in the morning to beat the heat. I'm going to do this at the hottest part of the year, the hottest time of day. So 11 a.m. we step off with 10 kilo weight vest and dick togs. Running along the river of Brisbane. And in that first year, it was just myself. A couple of mates came along did any of them do the full distance? I think maybe Scotty did the full distance, but I had a couple of mates run half of the distance with me and then they pissed off and did stuff. And then I had a few mates run the back end. Actually, that was Cam. I think it was Cam and Scotty ran the whole way with me. Two of my mates. And so, yeah, we did that. We raised, I think it was about $8,000, just sort of off the cuff. Which was good. Like I didn't really have much of a message behind anything. I was just like, yeah, this is my idea. The beers at the end were fun. As we were sitting there, I've kind of pulled in. I'm in my dick togs and weight vest down at Felons, and this brick shit house comes walking over me, covered in tats, wearing a kind of like straw cowboy hat thing. He's like, "What are you blokes doing?" And he's got like a mic thing. Like earpiece hooked up. I'm like, fuck, are we in trouble? Like this guy works here. He's like, what are you guys doing? Oh, just did this run. We'll raise money for Side Thrive. We're, ex-defense and stuff. He's like, oh, I used to be in the Navy. He's like, this sounds great. Do you guys just want a free stein? So Big Heath comes back with, I think 8 or something steins of Felons beer, drops them there. He's like, on the house. Like, here you go. You're like, mate, you're a fucking legend. Anyway, so, and that was that. He was like, oh, I really like what you're doing. Yeah, I'm ex-Navy. Cool. And then so middle of the year in 22 rolls around. I'm like, they're going to do that again. But I want more people to come down and do it, not just my mates. So I get in touch with Heath. We couldn't remember his name. We just got a photo with him. So Dane and I go down to Felons and we're like, does this guy work here? They're like, oh, that's Heath. He's one of the managers. They're like, cool. Can we talk to him? They're like, oh, yeah, he's actually here today. Just thinking, if you work at a bar, you're always there or a pub. And so we have a chat with Heath and he's like, mate, we're going to be able to like do all this stuff for you. Yeah, we're right behind it 100%. So Heath came to the table and he's like, we'll give you 6 kegs of beer. We'll do raffles. We'll put on a meat, like a breakfast and stuff for everyone before they run. And I'm like, don't know if you want to eat like sausages and bread before a run, but sure, thanks. And sure enough, it came to the table. Spoke to the guys that own Felons. They don't do much of any sort of fundraising except for us and I think Souths, one of the rugby union teams, maybe, or Easts. So we've sort of just fallen into the lap of these guys and owe them absolutely everything. So I think then that year we ended up going from 6 people running to 60. We 10x'd. And I think that year we made like 12 or 14 grand. Again, it was just all word of mouth and like social media posting and stuff. But we got people down there that also didn't run. They were just either in defence or not anymore. And they were just down there having a chat. And they were like, this is great. It's just like being back on the boozer. After I went and had a chat with everyone, thanked everyone for coming down just to support. They were like, this is great. Like we've been able to just chat about stuff, feel good. We've also got a whole bunch of civvies down here as well, so we're starting to mix communities and all that. And I was like, oh fuck, this might actually have legs. And then so from there, we sort of developed the weight of war concept and what it stands for. So the vest represents like the weight and all the shit you carry with service, and the budgies represent vulnerability. So being able to come out and have a chat and sort of, you know, make yourself vulnerable by, you know, looking like a Ken doll in budgies. So, mate, the best thing is when I get people try to give me shit online and they're like, oh, look at that micro penis. I'm like, mate,
I was just going to say, have you got can you get padded budgies for people with small dicks?
Sock
asking for a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, that's why I look like a Ken doll. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, 100% smooth. Yeah. So, and then they try to give me, oh, you've got a micro dick. I'm like, mate, do you think if I cared, like, about what I look like, I'd be putting this kind of stuff up on my social media? Like, mate, it's water off a duck's back. You fucking scumbag. Anyway.
I don't even care. You fucking piece of shit.
I'm going to write this in my journal. with my crayon. Someone mean. So no, we started developing this, and it really started to take on a life of its own. So the third year, we started getting some merch made up, and it's just me wearing dumb shit. But like, we've had some great people come into our corner, and it's actually really started to take off. So then in that third year, we had a bloke over in Karratha, Cyril, reach out, and he's like, hey, really like what you're doing. Actually, no, that might have been the second year. Karratha the third. Karratha came on the second year. So Cyril reached out and he's like, mate, I really like what you're doing. Do you mind if we run an event over in Karratha? And for anyone who doesn't know, it's Buttfuck, Idaho, over in WA, up north. I think most of it's just Rio Tinto up there, just digging holes in the ground. But yeah, he's like, can we run an event up here? And I was like, absolutely, like, thank you. And so he had, in his first run, I think he had, on the same day, they run a bit earlier because it's 43 degrees when they run up there. So he's like, oh, we're just going to do it at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, absolutely, mate. Like, you do what you got to do because you would die. Like, a minimum of 43. So yes, Cyril took that off, and he had, I think, 4 or 6 people in the first run, and then the next run they had in the third year, we had 120 down in Brisbane, and they got, I think it was, 50 or 60 over in Karratha, like, so from a tiny town. So I was just like, holy shit, like, this is unreal. Yeah. And again, no marketing and stuff, like, it's just social media. The organic growth of it has been really interesting and also fulfilling in a way, because it was what started off as absolutely a piss take, trying to raise some money for a mate's company, has now morphed into what it is, where we're currently seeking, going through the process to become a non-for-profit.
I was going to ask about that. Do you need to be registered or something to raise money like that?
So raising money, you don't. There's just better tax incentives. So all the money that comes through essentially goes into my business and then filters straight through to Dane or through Open Arms. So then there's tax implications on me for that. So by becoming a non-profit, I can then accept the money and pass it on, and there's no tax implications. I have to do a lot of stuff with the accountants to make sure that, you know, everything's above board. I'm not embezzling and hiding stuff. And I think if you've got any values, you wouldn't do that. Any decent values, you wouldn't do that shit anyway. But I mean, it happens, which is quite appalling. So yeah, that's the whole process. We need 3 directors, and then got to jump through all these hoops. But once we do get it, we're hoping in the future, or by the end of the year, that comes through, or start next year, and then we can also seek funding, which then moves into the next branch of the progression of the company as well, for what I want to do. But I guess going into last year, it was tough. So I got a scholarship to go over to India last year. So I did a couple of weeks over there. Last place I would ever want to go on earth. Like, prior to that, I'm just like, are you kidding? Like, you get to see the rest of the uni. These guys are going to Europe, they're going to Vietnam, like all these great places, and you're going to fucking send me to India. Like, what? But so we went over there, and it was actually probably one of the best trips I've ever done in my life. Like, it was so fun. The blokes I met over there would give you the shirt off their back. We were helping. It's basically like the AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport, but for India. But it's all just privately owned because the government doesn't do anything like that. So the kids that do go there, they've sometimes got wealthy parents, or they've got parents that are just making ends meet that get them to go to this institute. You can obviously guess cricket's fucking huge. Like, that's their main draw card, but then badminton comes in second, which is odd. It's, and I guess as they said, it's more of an Asian thing. But yeah, so I got to work with the cricket guys over there with the youth academy, and that was awesome. Mate, they had these beers over there called Kingfisher Strong. So, like, because we'd get on the sauce every night. Like, it was great fun. And a few, like 10 other nine other uni students, like, who I'm quite good mates with a couple of them now. We're down getting $2 beers because the money, like the dollar carries so well over there. But they've got these tallies called Kingfisher Strong. And it doesn't have a fixed alcohol percentage. It says 12 to 16%. So it's just a lucky dip what you get. Some of them are strong and the others are real strong. And so we're there having dinner one night, and you're not drinking them too fast, but you suck it on these tallies, and then all of a sudden you just, like, it just hits you like, gee, well, that was a strong one. that was definitely 16%. But yeah, it was great. So unfortunately, that finished. We actually watched the grand final, the Lions win over there. That was our last week we were over there, so end of September. So for last year's event, because I was over there and so occupied, I couldn't do a lot of the marketing that I wanted to do. So we didn't have as strong a year as I hoped for our fourth year. I completely owned that. Like, it's all on me. It's a one-man show, so can't blame anyone else but myself. Likewise, I got a really good life experience out of it as well from India, which was cool. But yeah, this year we've had a much bigger run, had a bigger lead up. We've had two more, I guess, sites come on board. So we've got Karatha. We've got Karatha as well already. We've just had Perth come on board and Cronulla down in Sydney, which is, geez, their event is going to be unreal, like right on the water there. But yeah, we're just starting to get more and more people like step up and want to get on board.
That's cool.
Just for the idea of, being able to go out, have a run, do a bit of exercise. There's no fixed, so you don't have to do 21. As I say to everyone, you can come down and just walk 500 metres, turn around and get straight on the tubes if you want. Up to you. Like, as long as people are down there, and to the best of my ability, I try to recreate that boozer culture, the good parts of it, where after sportos, you'd all come together, you have a couple of beers. There's always a raffle down at the boozer as well. So we've got raffles in Brisbane. I tried to recreate, because that was like some of the best times. And we also got to meet a lot of the other guys in the units, because as the cooks, we were always stuck down in the kitchen. So, we were mushrooms, bloody kept in the dark and fed shit. So the only time I got to meet a lot of the other boys and we weren't allowed to play sport was down at the boozer.
The ball ace.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to recreate as well, out of a bit of selfishness, just because I missed that part. But the fact that in that second and third year, we had people coming up saying, like, I actually look forward to this event now each year. Well, not the second year. Second year, they were like, this is great that we can have conversations with people that either we don't know, or we're able to catch back up with mates down here in an environment that we're familiar with, and then open up new dialogue. And then in the third year and fourth year, having people come down and say, mate, this is actually like one of the top things we look forward to now. Not the run, like that sucks ass. Having the beers after, and a couple of the boys, they don't drink. They just like hang around so they can have yarns. Me personally, it's my Christmas. Like, it's when I let my hair down, so to speak.
How do you go with the fucking chafe, mate?
Oh,
You fucking have some Vaseline tucked away in your weight vest or what?
well, so that's the thing. Every year I've always run dry as well. So I don't put on any Vaso, nothing. Just you put up with it. A big thing for me is, I guess, more of the personal side for me is, like, a lot of the mates that have suffered with depression or PTSD, whatever it was, they don't get to sort of do something and then it just goes away. The weight vest, when you've got that on and you run 21 Ks and it's hot, and mate, I fucking hate running. Like, I don't do it because it's fun or I like it. I do it because you get to, for for me, around 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how hot it is. I get to go through absolute hell, but at the end, I get to literally lift that vest off and it's just relief. You're like, fuck, how good does that feel? What beer straight down the hatch. So for me, it's like, okay, like it sort of grounds you again. Like, you know, these guys don't get to do it. They don't get to just finish something and then go, I'm good, I'm finished. So, and that's what I do try to say to the people that do run with a vest is like, hey, look, it's going to suck. But just remember, like you get to take this off. Some guys don't. Like they've got to live with that black dog the rest of their life, or they're trying to fight their way through it. So it's good to just kind of ground you every now and then. I guess an analogy I use is you hear so many people lip off on the internet and even in the street now, especially young kids, just being real lippy. And it's like, mate, you've not been punched in the head either at all or in a long time, have you? Because if you had, you wouldn't be acting like that. And so it's very much akin to that. It's like you get to understand sort of what guys are going through, what they experience potentially, not necessarily in the physical sense, but that mental load that they carry. It's a good grounding tool once a year. And then
it's awesome that it's had so much organic growth just through finding that people are just seeing social posts and going, fuck yeah, let's run our own version of it in
wherever,
different states,
which is great. The big thing for me as well is it's always free. Like anyone that has to pay money to run, I'm like, man, you're getting scammed. We literally evolved to do that.
I know, people that pay for all these fucking fun runs, I'm like, you literally just put shoes on and go for a run. Like,
absolutely.
Same.
Like I think the people charging for runs are con artists. If you're not learning or getting anything out of it, it's just like, oh, come down and do our marathon. It's $80. Like, excuse me, what? Like, mate, that's 3 beers. That's 3 pints. What are you talking about?
3 pints? Where the fuck are you buying pints?
Felons. So it's like it always free, no cost. And for me, it's that low barrier of entry. It's like if the only thing is stopping you, and especially like I think now it's even more important just with the cost of living and everything, is if the only thing is stopping you is 50, 20, $10 coming down to run, that I don't want that. I don't want that barrier to be there. Also, like if you're just coming down to support and drink beers, like the concept of paying is just not on for me. And I guess much like Dane, like offering the service to the veteran for free, but then seeking, that money coming in, like that's what it's about. Is this event is to raise money to help guys that need it, so it stays at no cost to them. So if anyone is able to contribute anything, it goes straight to them. We've got some really great businesses that come on that help us cover some costs, so like for websites, for insurance, all that kind of stuff. So again, as long as I can, I'm going to keep it free. If it does get to a point where this is a national thing and I've got insurer bodies saying like, yeah, you're liable for millions, then hopefully it never happens. Hopefully we keep getting those sponsors. But as I always say at the start of the run, when I give everyone the safety brief, I'm like, remember, if you trip over or something happens, the Brisbane City Council or wherever you're from has much deeper pockets than I do. So go after them. You're just here on an enjoyable run by yourself.
Yeah. What's the format? What time are you down there from?
So the way we run it in Brisbane, and they'll also be doing it in Cronulla, is we step off at 11, so be there by 10:30, so we can give the safety brief, just where to go, what happens, quick little chat. That only takes 5 minutes, and then go through a warm-up and stuff. So I personally don't like these big group warm-ups. To me, it's akin to, doing icebreakers. I fucking hate it. I'm like, if you want to go over in that corner and do your own warm-up, do that. But one of the boys, Troy, he'll be able to also do a group warm-up for anyone that wants to. No one's forced to do anything. But yeah, mate, icebreakers, I hate them. So get down there at 10:30, quick brief, get a big photo right before 11, and then we step off. Whatever distance you're doing, whether it's the full 21 or you're just going for a little walk, your call. We've got markers, and we say, there's 10K or 5K. Like, set yourself a challenge if you want, and then just come back, get on the tubes or the sarsaparillas if you want, And then when the last person comes in, so what I'm doing this year for everyone that does come down in budgies, so don't need the weight vest, but if you do come down in budgies, I'm shouting you a beer at the end of the day, because Felons give us 6 kegs and every single dollar of that comes back to the event as well. So if anyone's tight on money, but they've got a bit of cash to have a beer because they want to have a beer, that goes to supporting veterans onto Dane's program. So I think that's one of the best.
So they give you the kegs and then you use the money that are for the beers that are paid for to go.
So they give us 6 kegs. They just say, yep, we've got 6 kegs worth here. If you sell them all out, then you get all that money. If you sell 2 kegs, then you get that money, whatever it is. So Felons donate that to us, which is unreal. Like, they don't have to, but they do, which is great. I think the only thing they take is the processing fee, the 2 cents or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, all those beers.
So if someone wears budgies, you buy them a beer?
Yeah, I'll buy them a beer out of my own pocket. That'd be pretty cool, because I want to get a big photo at the end. Everyone in budgies with a beer that wants it, or a soda. I've got a couple of mates that don't drink, which is fine. But yeah, if anyone that comes down, I'll look after them. You also don't need to run in budgies. Fully clothed is completely okay. I know some people aren't keen.
So if you're going at 11, you're looking at everyone being back around sort of 1:32.
Yeah, generally. I think we got some big boys that run it, and mate, they do the whole thing in their budgies, like 120, 30, 40 kilos, and they'll do the whole thing. They kind of get in around that 2 o'clock mark, but yeah, you'll get, because of the varying distances, you get people drip feeding through. So it's not the thing with us is, like, we do the big photo and the sort of celebration right at the start of everyone being together. Then they go off and do their runs, respective distance, come back in. I make sure to get around, say g'day to everyone once I'm back in. And we got ice baths down there as well. So Felons put on ice baths, which is awesome. The big chaff bins that they use from the barley chaff or whatever, there's these huge bins, which they get rid of all their byproduct of making beer from.
Yeah.
And so, they just fill that up with ice for us. Unfortunately, not beer.
And then how long do you stick around for if everyone's coming in staggered?
If everyone comes in staggered, I'll still be there around 6 o'clock at night. I think that's when Heath sort of generally pulls the pin. We'll be doing
like an area that's roped off.
Yes. For those that I guess do know Felons, basically where the City Cat terminal is, the big grassed area and the big TV, that's all ours.
Yeah, right.
So we're given that. Everything that so all of our kegs are in the fire truck, the Felons fire truck, so it gets pulled out of there. So that's where, if you're going to get drinks, get them out of there. Otherwise, you're giving your money to Felons. Not the cause. But so we've got raffles. I think raffles will get drawn at 3 or 3:30. So we've got like all of the restaurants down there: Stanley, Yoko, Greca, Chow Pappy. They've got a $200 gift card each.
Oh, nice.
There's a night's accommodation for 2 and brekkie down at the Crystal Brook, so the hotel behind Felons, and then also the Story Bridge. They've got a family, free family walk up that. Oh, yeah. That's part of it. That was actually pretty cool. In the 3rd year, I was the first person ever to walk up the Story Bridge in budgies and then do an ad, like a little video thing for us up there. So I don't know if anyone's trying to break that record, but first bloke in budgies up on a bridge, on top of a bridge.
Nice. Sounds good, dude. Sounds like a good day out.
It is, like I said, it's one of my most favourite days of the year. The big thing we're looking for once we get this tick of approval on becoming a non-profit is to then expand and open up. So there's a bit of an area I've identified within the veteran communities. You've got people that need help, and there are those services that are there for them. They're not all the greatest, and there are guys falling through the cracks, which is unacceptable. But doing the best with what we can, with what we've got. So there's those guys that need it. You've got guys at the other end, which generally are like your really high performers. They've gone through the fence, that they are veterans nonetheless, but they're doing really well for themselves. And the way they give back is by donating a lot of money, having companies which the veterans get to benefit from. So we absolutely need them, and there's no stab at either. Where I've seen is there's bit of a missed space of guys that have been in. They don't necessarily need to take advantage of any of these programs and stuff, which are there, but they sort of want to be involved still with the community, but not take anything away from it. So what I'd like to start branching out with Weight of War is essentially offering not necessarily events, but things sort of more like, so next year we're planning to do the Overland Trail down in Tassie. So guys that want something to train for.
In budgies.
Fucking budgies. Budgies. And you do it in winter, so that's the last thing I need. Budgies in Tassie in bloody winter. Like, pretty sure I'd end up with bloody ovaries. They'd shoot up that far. So I want to more of like think of adventure training or adventure style stuff. So guys that want that purpose of something to train towards, they get to hang out with a couple other veterans, but they're sort of in the same lane as well. It's like, I'm not taking away from other people. I want to get involved, do some stuff, but it might be like a fitness task. So a 6-day overland trail. So I need to train for X amount of months, 6, 12 months to get ready. Not necessarily 12, but need to do a big training thing. There's still a selection criteria. So if I'm not hitting KPIs, then I can't go because it's a safety issue. But it's also not that top end where, you know, only the elite of the elite. It's an area where I think there is some benefit and some guys will get that benefit out of it as well. And again, the whole plan is no cost to veteran from that. I'll raise money. And if we go non-profit, then we're eligible for funding. So if I can get funding for that, it'd be great. But that's sort of the next arm that I want to progress down.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd be keen for that.
Yeah. So, and then of course, a couple of beers at the end. Always about those beers. Like, I reckon to anyone listening, I probably sound like the biggest pisshead. I barely drink.
Piss?
Yeah, I barely drink all year. It's just like December, I go hard because at the start there's the run, and then Christmas, and then after that I'm a ghost. Barely touch the stuff.
That's your blowout.
Yep, 100%. And I'm a complete lightweight now. So, yeah, 3 beers, I'm like, woo, like, here we go, we're on. And then 4 beers, I'm asleep.
Yeah. Man, I've got a fucking redemption from Overlander. Went down there, 22 might have been. With me and my mate Alex went down for, you actually have to book, right, to do it. Because they limit the numbers. But you can spend up to 48 hours on the track without a pass.
Yeah, okay.
So we missed the booking. By the time we booked, it was already booked out. So we're like, oh, fuck, we're going to have to... So we'll just go on all trails. We'll carve our own path, and then we'll just meet up with Overlander for the last 48 hours so that we can catch the ferry or the shuttle bus that we'd booked from the bottom of Lake Sinclair or whatever it is. And so we got dropped off at Walls of Jerusalem.
Yeah, okay.
Started there, went down through Lake Adelaide, Lake Mercer, I think it is. And after the first day, never saw another soul.
Yeah.
We're literally backcountry. Half of it was unfucking marked. We're just punching through bush. Alex was in front. His legs are just all fucking chopped up and destroyed.
Or he'd go in shorts.
Yeah. And then we get down to... So there's this river that comes up, and fucking where this waterfall is, there's it's like a feature of the Overlander, like one of those offshoots where you go in and it's only a couple of Ks to the main track, and you can go have a look at this waterfall. And we're like, all right, so we'll get to this waterfall. Obviously, it's part of the Overlander, so it's going to be super well marked, super fucking well worn, like impossible to miss. So this is on the 3rd day. So we're hiking pretty consistently, maybe doing 10-hour days for the 3 days. Like I said, after we'd left Lake Adelaide, that was it. We're on our own. We never saw another person. So two more days by ourselves trekking through. We find the river that we were looking for, and we follow that up, and we spent fucking a half a day getting up that, and we're like, all right, we should hit the waterfall about 1 o'clock. So we get about 12:30, we fucking come across this big, beautiful waterfall, and we're like, oh, fuck, here it is. Went for a fucking swim, chilled out, and like, all right, let's find the trap. And we thought there was no one there, which was a bit weird, but didn't really raise any alarms. And we're like, fucking, so we get off the waterfall and we start looking. We know we have to go fucking northeast. So we're punching in, looking for a track, couldn't find any track. There were sort of things that resembled tracks, but not really. Went down like something that looked like a track and it ended, punched through the bush a little bit, like, can't be it. Like, there's no fucking way it could be this hard. Go again. We end up splitting up. We're fucking walking down sort of things that look like tracks, and then they end. We did that for like fucking 2 hours. Then we end up like going further north, doing the same thing. We're just like half bush bashing and getting a bit fucking worried. And we're like, oh mate, like we know it's that way. Let's just punch in, and we've got to cross it. Once we hit it, it's only a K or two. Once we hit it, there's no way we can walk over the overlander and not know. So let's just punch in. So we pick a direction and just hammer into the fucking scrub, and it starts getting real fucking dicey. There's no tracks anywhere. So we're like deadfall fucking forest, like take a step, you sink to your hips, and then you fucking grab a tree to pull yourself up, and that fucking snaps, and you and then it gets real fucking, the canopy gets real thick.
Yep.
So it's getting dark. It's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's fucking almost pitch black. And it's sketchy as fuck. And Alex is starting to peak, and he's done, like, he was a SOCOM fucking medic. So he's well versed in fucking survival skills and stuff, and he's starting to freak out. And rather than saying like, this special forces dude is freaking out, maybe I should freak out, I thought I took it upon myself to be like, one of us needs to be fucking grounded and calm. So like, fucking don't worry about it, bro. Let's keep going. Fucking, we got this. What's the worst could happen? We either find the track or we go back to the waterfall. No worries. And he's like, what if we miss the waterfall? You missed by a fucking inch, you missed by a mile, we're off. And we're fucking days into the scrub. No one knows where we are. We don't have a GPS. We're literally fucking no man's land. And so we start fucking rationing food and fucking, dude, it's getting fucking so sketch. Anyway, and gets fucking super dark. It's like 6 p.m. and I was like, all right, we've got no fucking choice now. We have to just camp here in the middle of the fucking wilderness. So we fucking pull up stumps. I slept like a baby. Alex didn't sleep at all. He's just fucking picturing every possibility that could go wrong. And then we wake up in the morning and we're like, all right, we can keep punching, which I'm like, we've got to hit it. Like, there's no other option. Or we go back. So I think we went for about another half an hour. And we've got to fucking pull the pin. Like, this is just going to go from bad to worse if we don't stop. So we fucking punch back towards the waterfall, hammered like fucking double time. We're not getting back to the waterfall where we went fucking wrong. I was like, fucking, what do we do now? Like, we're days away from where we fucking started. We don't know how the fuck to get to the overlander. We're in the middle of fucking who knows fucking where. So like, we've got two options. Either we keep looking for this fucking track, or we just pull the pin and go back to Lake Adelaide. But we'd book flights and fucking accommodation like in 2 days' time. So we only had 2 days to get for the rest of the thing. But it took us 3 days to get there. So like, fuck. So like, so we've about another half an hour. We're like, all right, let's just have one more look around. Maybe it's like something glaringly obvious. There's no way that we would have missed it. It's like, fuck, we're going to have to pull the pin. So we fucking, in the 10-hour trip that we did on the third day, we did that in 4 hours.
Jeez.
We got back to where we slept the first or the second night. And I got back to that little lakeside fucking, like a trapper's cabin, and just fucking died on the floor. Laid there for about an hour. We were eating fucking rat packs because I was working for the army, so we just took ration packs.
Perfect.
And had some food. And then we're like, all right, fucking, you ready? You ready? Let's fucking go. So we did the second day. What we did the second day, we did that in another 4 hours. We were fucking hammering, like, just everything we had. It got to a point like we're about a K from the end point, and my legs fucking gave in. Alex took my pack and his pack, and I was just following him fucking clean skin.
Thanks, Sherpa.
Yeah, for the last K. And I'm struggling to keep up with him fucking clean skin, this fucking weapon of a human. Anyway, we get back to Lake Adelaide, just fucking destroyed, but there's other people there, and when we're out of the shit, right? So we're like fucking sigh a breath of relief, and then we only had like 12 k's to get from there to the Walls of Jerusalem car park. So we're like, oh, let's just fucking camp here. We'll get up at like 5 and just head over there, and we'll try and get in there early, and hopefully we'll find if we can fucking hitch a ride.
Yeah.
So we got back to the car park in the morning, and then we just fucking sat there and just waited until somebody was fucking leaving and hey, can you take us to some sort of civilization? So we got dropped off in fucking Devonport, which we'd booked accommodation in Launceston, so we had to like find a Greyhound bus station and book a bus, and it was like 5 hours we had to wait. And we're 5 fucking days deep into like stinking so bad. Like every now and then you catch a whiff of yourself.
Maybe adrenaline as well to try and get back in time.
Oh, dude, that was... If someone had asked us, like, do you want to have like 3 days of the most beautiful countryside and fucking epic sort of hiking, and then 2 days of like the most intense physical challenge you could ever ask for? We probably went, yeah, that sounds pretty sick. But yeah, fucking afterwards, never felt so alive and accomplished. Like it was a good feeling.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. There's nothing better when there's like, especially that time constraint of like flights. You're just like, no, I've got to get there.
Yeah, we fucking no choice. Yeah.
Yep.
But dude, for months, we had no clue what happened. Like we were looking at the maps and shit. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, how could we not? Like, because it was like, it's right fucking there. And literally it was like fucking 2 months later, I was at work and I was a veteran, and he's like, talking about how he went to Lake Adelaide and this fucking waterfall. I was like, do you have any photos from that waterfall? He's like, yeah. And he showed me. I was like, that's not it. So I went on I just typed into Google waterfalls of Tasmania and just fucking scrolled until I found the one we were at. And the one we were at was about 3 k's south of the one we were looking for. Never crossed our mind. The one we found was actually bigger and more beautiful than the one we were looking for.
Yeah, right.
So it never crossed our mind that it was the wrong fucking waterfall. So when we're punching north, we're punching into fucking nothingness. Eventually we would have hit the overlander because it sort of looped around like this.
Yep.
But it was like k's of nothingness in between where we were. So that's why and how that happened.
Fuck.
But we both said it a few times, like we need to go back and conquer that fucking. We got unfinished business on the overlander.
Mate, my story's similar to that, but nowhere near, because it wasn't days. We were down at Mount Barney, and we were a client of mine, who's almost like family now. Had them as a client for 10 years. We were down hiking Mount Barney, and there's Half Dome, so we were going to abseil down it. And there's no track to get up there. You've got to just follow GPS coordinates. So we're following that. He's got his GPS, and the line that we were meant to go up, we missed by like 5 meters because it's all unmarked. And so like we're looking at, he just naturally climbs up rock faces, like feeling fine. And I'm like, nah, mate, you got to fucking tie me in. Like, there's no way I'm climbing up that thing. Like, drop off a 40-meter cliff into nothing. I'm like,
yeah, I know. I've climbed Bunny as well.
Balls of steel. So yeah, we're going up. Half Dome, whatever it's called, whatever the thing that we were going to
abseil.
It's abseil down. It's Mount Barney's next to it, and then it's not as high. Yeah, just off to the side. Anyway, we couldn't find it, so we're trying to get up this rock face. He couldn't either. Looking for it. Anyway, sun starts going down. I'm like, man, we've been at this for like 7 hours because we set off. So to get out to the lower portals, it's like a 2K flat walk, just undulating. So I think we got there at like maybe 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Did that, finally got there, and then started the ascent. Anyway, so yeah, it's past midday, starting to go down, and we're like, shit, all right, we got to make this call. We're going to keep trying to find this or head. And I'm like, finished my last little bit of water. I'm like, I reckon we head back. I'm thirsty, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get up there. So we just hook it down, sun's going down, and anyway, we finally get to the river where it is. And so Rich is putting his, like, fill up his bottle, puts his steri pen in there to sterilise the water, and I'm just like, I'm shoveling this creek water down my neck. I was like, can't get enough of this. Anyway, so we're we're back on the flat, so it's like slight little adrenaline rushes over because it's pretty steep country trying to get down. And as a lot of people know, like the most dangerous time as well is when you're descending, just because you start to switch off. So we're trying to like backtrack down all these rock faces, and I was fine. Just water down the hatch, crack on, and then I reckon a K out from the car, like Rich just sort of started going into shock just because of the energy dump and everything. And I've never seen him do it. It wasn't bad, but he was just getting shaky, like lost all the colour and stuff. I had the flashlight in his face. I'm like, "You're all right, mate?" He's like, "Fuck." Anyway, didn't really have to catch a flight home or take fucking 4 hours to walk one day like you did. But yeah, that's about as hectic as my story gets.
One of my mates fucking did that. Macca. He was asking me about Barney heaps because I've done it a couple of times, and he's like, "Oh, I really want to do it," and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do it this weekend," and then I saw him a couple of weeks later. I was like, "How'd you go?" And he's like, "Dude, it was the worst the worst experience of my life." We went up the top, fucking on the southeast face, and he's like, "We're going to go down a different way," but we fucking got lost. Ended up on the other side of the mountain, and they were fucking lost for 24 hours.
Holy shit!
But they were like, they couldn't find their way back to the car, so they were just wandering through the fucking bush, sort of half cliff face, following the side of the mountain for 24 hours. They were fucking just wandering around Mount Barney.
Because it gets, like, depending on the time of year, it gets cold out there as well.
Yeah.
But a great spot. I love Barney. Like some of the camping grounds out there. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, we hiked up to the top of the highest point, and there's like literally like a tent-sized piece of grass. That's all there is up there. And so we went up there, me and Alex again, we used to do a lot of hikes together, and set up our little tent and fucking made a little fire and having a feed. 2 dudes fucking come up there just with their backpacks and swags, and they got no water. They got 12 beers.
12 beers.
You fucking savages. Oh yeah. And then we had the only spot to camp, so they're just like on the rocks fucking with their swags, on their sleeping bags.
Lucky they had the beers then. Sort of just contoured into the face of the rock.
Fucking 6 beers. Fucking go for it. But yeah, it's so good up there because you can watch the sunset and sunrise, and you're over the level of the clouds. It's sick.
It's unreal. I love it. Low portals, like great swimming.
Yeah, it's beautiful
around there. Yeah, it's such a good spot.
Yeah, if you got kids, fucking Lulu was like 8 when we did Lower Portals. It's like a 7K to the swimming hole.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, oh, there you go, 7K. I thought it was 2 to get from the car park to there.
It might be 7K return, so 3.5 each way.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah, cool, man. It's awesome. So fucking Way to War, 6th of December.
6th of December, yeah. First Saturday of every year. First Saturday of every December. So, 6th this year.
Yeah, nice.
It's good to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, free to everyone. So if anyone wants to come down, point and laugh or join in, either way. See a big tall Ken doll running around. Looks like a man, but without a penis.
All the fixings for a man. Something missing. Cool, man. I fucking look forward to having a squeeze.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Appreciate letting me come on as well.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming. Good chat.
Cool.
Cheers. Bye, guys.